button and started the live. All right, well, I guess I'm doing it like that. Okay, how you doing? Yeah, fix my hair. Oh, there's a TV. Okay, I think it's still backwards. What does this button do? Green screen? No. We don't know no goddamn green screen. What the hell's going on here? Done. Okay, I have a green screen now. What the fuck? I don't know what all these new things are. Retouch? What the hell's going on here? Oh, okay. Oh, wait, I can put the cat behind me? Is that what it's gonna do? Oh man, that's good. Alright, well, I guess it's learning how to stream with the new stuff for dummies. You know, let me see if I can put... Let me see. Can I put that behind me? Oh, cool. Alright, I can put our logo behind me with the fake green screen. Reconnecting. Okay, I'm live. What's up, guys? Give me a second. It started the stream on its own. This is a cool little thing I can do now. I didn't know they added this stuff. How cool is that? Alright. Look at that. I get to be like all fancy. Alright, I didn't know you could do that. So I have a green screen now. A fake green screen, but I guess it is what it is. We'll play with it for a minute. This will be fun. Alright, I'm going to give a couple seconds for people to jump in because I'm going to explain for the last time my position on the names of Tai Chi Chuan and all this stuff and the whole Fascia thing. I'm going to lay it out really simple so I know there's a lot of people who love to purposely misunderstand me and cause drama, and then some people are just a little slow. So we're going to give them a couple of seconds to come in. I'm going to check the stream on the TV and make sure it's working. And then I'm going to give a really simple explanation of the history that I've learned and basically my position on it so that no one can say, I don't know what he's talking about. He's mean. He's a mean man. I don't know. Just give me 1 second, guys, because I just want to make sure everything's running. I don't know. There's me being a douchebag in the back. Okay, give me 1 second. I should probably put on a real shirt because I'm always sitting here in my workout clothes and pajamas talking to you guys. It's my little video log. You know, I'm going to be heavy metal today. So I'm going to be heavy metal today. That's what I'm going to do. Because my true form... Yeah, I'm going to go into my true form so I can be happy. And I'm going to get a little drink. Oh, do I? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I look homeless while I'm in my home. That's great. You know, it's funny. All these people, you would think they'd be a lot kinder to a homeless guy if I'm homeless. Am I still on here? Okay. This is interesting to see this little green screen thing trying to work. I like it. It looks fancy. So what we're going to do is we're going to let the Google bot finish sending in the retarded trolls and let them, because it's always a wave of 20 idiots that come in and say some stupid shit, and then I'll get started. But how cool is that? I have a fake green screen. Now I can look like a homeless metal for you. How's that? Okay. How many of you 28 idiots are actually people that watch my shit? Or you're just a bunch of douchebags that Google sent in to fuck with me? Because this is what that normally happens. I'll get like 20 fucking idiots to come in that have never seen me before. They say stupid shit and then they leave and then my friends come. So I'll give you guys a second to figure it out. And then I'll explain this whole thing behind me, which is pretty cool that Google allows you to do that now. Maybe I should close the shade because the sun is messing up this green screen effect. I didn't even know you can do that. I didn't know that was possible. That's pretty cool. Who's that? Is there a Nazi symbol in the background? Yes, it's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. Did you know that the yin yang The Nazi symbol, the swastika, is actually a Buddhist symbol. It's actually the procession of the equinox, or the Big Dipper. And it was stolen from the Buddhists. Did you know that? You probably didn't, because you guys are the slow class. The average IQ is 98. So, yeah, that's what I've realized. This isn't like to, it's interesting how this thing works. Well, anyway, yeah, it's a yin-yang or something. That's what it is. I'll wait for some of my friends to leave, these rejects to leave. It's like in 1945, good. It was a good year. People knew what bathrooms to go to, When you went on a date, you didn't have to check to see if she had a penis. I mean, now, if she has, good tits, maybe a good surprise, but at least back then, you knew what you were getting when you first started up, How many of you rejects are here for the first time? Because obviously I've never seen a lot of you guys. This is what happens. Here's when I start the stream now. I get a flood of what seems to be bots. Are you guys like ChatGTP like 1? Because you're fucking slow. And your jokes are tired. It's like a Call of Duty lobby, but like if they didn't have the Ritalin. You guys are trash. You're not even entertaining. So I'm gonna sit and wait for you guys to finish being retarded. Retarded, like the fucking Cola commercial. So any of my friends in here yet? Oh, I got 5 likes. That's nice of you guys. At least some of you guys are liking the thing. Yeah, kind of automated troll pots. Definitely automated on something. So I have the chat and the TV, so I don't have to keep squinting like the old man that I am. You ever hear this band? Nihilist? Fucking metal. No? So give another minute or two. So we can let the DTD swim out, and the people need to hear the stuff come in, because I don't want to repeat myself 40 fucking times. So behind me is the emblem, is the secret of all my kung fu sauce. It's my the secret scroll. And if you understand how to read it, you basically understand how to use all the crazy kung fu techniques that have been hidden from people for the past 100 years. If you don't know how to read it, you're shit out of luck. So, it's too bad for you. Too bad for you. So how are you guys doing today? Jumping into my fancy green screen channel. It was an accident. This wasn't supposed to be up here. I pressed the wrong button because I thought the camera was backwards, and then put a green screen effect on. I'm like, I didn't know I had a green screen effect. The fuck is this? So now we're gonna play with it because why not? Why not? Might as well go full cheese mode. I'm like I've become the old man that needs the kids to help me fix the computer. Holy shit. Yeah, let's put this one. Maybe that'll make the effect better. It actually looks good. I'm not sitting in front of it. It seems to work pretty well, but I'm not like messing it up. It's like a bad Zoom call. How many? Okay, good. The trolls are leaving. That's great. Okay. Now that weaponized autism has subsided, we're going to go over really, really, really slow why use the different spellings of Tai Chi Chuan, what's the difference of all this stuff, what my view is on the Fascia people. And I'm going to say this really, really, really like as slowly and clearly as I can, because people have, they love to misunderstand me on purpose because they're bored, they're stupid. Okay. If you look at the word yin yang, right, in like the Tai Chi, it was about Tai Chi, right, and you look at the Tai Chi symbol, the yin yang, right, the yin yang when you spell it in Chinese, it's Tai Jitu, Tai Ji 2, okay, it's not Tai Chi, it's not Chi. Okay, so the thing with the pinyin, if you look at, there's 2 acceptable spellings of Tai Chi Chuan, right? And one is Tai Chi and Chuan, Chuan, and the other one is Tai Chi, J-I, and Q-U-A-N, which is like Guan or however you want to say it, right? Which is totally incorrect. The reason for that is because no one takes the time to spend to go look at the pinyin. When I looked at it, but I don't remember what, the stupid pronunciations. It's not the same pronunciations like in English. Okay, this green screen is annoying me looking at it, but I'm gonna leave it there because what the fuck. All right, so it's not the same pronunciation as in English, right? You have to go and look up pinyin and see there's like a rule set, and like they have different pronunciations for the letters. So when you're reading it, it's not QU, it's like it's something else. Like Q is something else, and the CH has to have an apostrophe or something. It's like all these stupid fucking rules, okay? But then I posted a couple months ago on my Discord a TED Talk from a Chinese dude, some professor-like guy, who drew the calligraphy and did a whole speech about the difference between the characters, and that the character for Tai Chi is G. And he says, you practice Tai Chi to get your Chi. Okay? This isn't me making this shit up. This is like guys who are way smarter than me in that field who cannot explain this shit, okay? So then you have like Chuan is like fist, right? In Cantonese it's kyun. It's fist, right? And it's not just a fist, but it's like using your hand in martial arts. So when people are saying they do Tai Chi Chuan, they're implying, like some mystical, and that's not what it is, okay? It's not what it is. It was scientific boxing style. It's the same as regular boxing. There's, mechanical hitting people, all this stuff. Even the fancy stuff that looks like woo-woo, that people don't understand, it's literally still physics. It's still mechanical advantages. They're just different mechanics. You're using tendons and ligaments and fascia, elastic collisions, and all this other stuff. But there's no fucking woo behind it. It looks like woo sometimes because you're doing stuff in a way that's like a fucking magic trick, but it's not woo, okay? Now there is a woo side coming from the Qi Gong, and the Qi Gong is real, okay? But very few people can do the real shit, okay? And you have to look for it, you'll find it. But the thing is, now you have a lot of people who want to fake real stuff that's like magical, and then that gives it a bad name. There's very few people who can do the real Qigong stuff, okay? I've met some masters and some freaky shit. So that's another issue, okay? So I'm hoping all the slow people understand, okay? And somebody in the comments from my last stream was complaining about we can just put, because we're talking about Tai Chi Gong, describing it versus Tai Chi Chuan, right? And I was saying, this guy from the channel, Ace Research, who's in my suggested list, he has a video explaining that what people are doing nowadays and calling Tai Chi Chuan is not a martial art. Yes, the slow people, there's a lot of slow people doing slow Tai Chi. So we'll get into that. What keeps people from doing the real stuff? There's a lot, a lot of reasons. Okay, and I explained in the last video, the people are too slow. I'm trying to condense this because I know the idiots, they can't, their attention span's fucking 10 seconds from the shorts. Okay? So now that we got that first part out of the way, I want to make clear that the guy from Ace Research, he's the one that coined the term Tai Chi Gong versus Tai Chi Chuan to try to make a distinction so that people stop making this collection that everybody's doing the same thing. Tai Chi is not a style. Tai Chi is a theory set, ideas, kind of like Jeet Kune Do in a way, based on this, okay? Which is basically the yin-yang and the 8 trigrams that come from the yin-yang and all the vectors that are associated with it, okay? So when someone says, oh, they're doing Tai Chi, they think every Tai Chi is the same. It's impossible because it's not a fucking style. There are styles of Tai Chi theory being presented, but they're not, there's no one style of Tai Chi. And anybody who says you're doing Tai Chi wrong and you're doing Tai Chi wrong, they're all idiots. They're arrogant morons. The only way you can be doing it wrong is if you're saying that I can do something that it does not do. Okay, that's doing it wrong. If you go and you're doing some Tai Chi Chuan, right, and you're just moving your hands around and dancing, and then you think after 20 years you're gonna go beat up some MMA guy, you're out of your fucking mind. Okay? And if you're telling people that, then you're wrong. And then if you're doing like, some like, just like, striking old school Tai Chi Chuan, and then say you could do it for Qigong, and you're probably wrong too. Okay? That's the problem. The problem is the use of words. Now going back to Elmo, I'm going to get to you in a second because I want to make this clear because I got to address so many idiots who want to cause trouble Okay, who want to like, talk shit and just be like fucking detractors and assholes instead of being supporters and make things better. They always want to make things worse. So I have to speak in the language they understand. I have to give this the remedial lesson, okay, from the metalhead fucking ghetto Tai Chi guy. Okay, Tai Chi was not my main style again. Like my main style was traditional karate and boxing and like other things. Some crazy Chinese styles you don't even know the names of. But anyway, so now to get that out of the way, the ACE Research Channel guys, the one who coined that term, right? And I said, that's the thing I've been trying to say for a long time. Because if you notice in my videos, I always put it as Tai Chi Chuan Chaun. The reason I do that is because in English, that's the correct way to pronounce it. Okay? I don't care about pinyin and I don't care about the chain government sponsored shit. I'm doing what I was taught, how I hear it, what's the right way to do it. Okay? So that's why I use that labeling. Okay? If you see people, because there's only two acceptable labelings, it's either Tai Chi, C-H-I, Chuan, or Tai Chi, Guan. Okay? And the pinyin does not transfer to English, and nobody went and did the research to understand why that spelling is not fucking English. Follow me? And this is the tie into Elmore's question, because the use of words is very important. So, when you go back to the standardized forms, the one that most people, that were, the Authority Specializations, all this stuff like that, 24 form, 48 form, all this stuff like that, everything that came after 1956 was government sanctioned. You understand? So, before 1950, during the Korean War, like all the Boxer rebellions, all this stuff, you had crazy, insanely powerful, nearly superhuman martial artists. Okay? You will have a lot of trouble trying to find this information, find the videos online anymore. Okay? After the apocalypse that happened, back in the day here and all this other stuff, they've messed up the internet. And they're very selective what they allow people to see. Okay? So they've changed history. Do you think, right before that, 1956, right? What happened in China? They were hanging the masters in the streets. The masters fled to Malaysia, Taiwan, Japan, United States. They left, okay? So whoever was allowed to stay, if you ever watch a Kung Fu movies, they all say the same thing. Never teach your Kung Fu to the Qing, okay? So in 1956, the Qing, okay, sponsored the Tai Chi coming back. Who do you think was teaching it? When the Legend of Yang Lushan, when he was teaching the Imperial Guard, all the legends say he didn't teach them the real shit. Right? You have the Yang Michuan style, you have the Yang family form. The real shit's not, they never told it in the public. And a lot of the real masters were dead. And there's, what's his name? The energy arts guy. God. I'm sorry, Bruce Francis, I think his name is. You listen to his stories. He went to fucking China. The guy is like, really good. He went to China all over the place, could not find the real dude to teach him the real shit. But you would think, he would be a little smarter and realize, oh, maybe because they killed them all before I got here, they chased them out of the country? With the fantasy about like, I want to go back to the homeland of Kung Fu. And it's like, it's not there. It's not there. That's what people understand. You're not going to find it in China. You're not going to find it in a Mandarin-speaking lineage. It can be really hard. It can be really hard. That's why you could see all the people who do like the Chen Mancheng lineages, like the Taiwan, societies have like the real shit. Like Malaysia has the real shit. You don't go to China to get the real shit. Okay, so that's one of the big issues, And then Americans are slow here. They're lazy. They don't want to do, and they want things hands-on. And then humans in general are very cult-like. They want to worship the leaders. They want to find somebody to worship and be part of some group. And my group versus your group. And they don't care about the truth. They don't care about any of that stuff. You know what I mean? That's the problem. So going back to Elmo's point, why don't people learn the real shit? I've watched the degradation of martial arts systemically and the social engineering, how they downgraded society. They flipped over the genders. They made everybody weak. They made the good people afraid to stand up for themselves. They made the bad people completely outlandish and insane. Right? They completely destabilized society to control us all. That's why they've made this. They've gone out of their way. There's people and goons and think tanks that sat there and figured out, brainwash people, make them stupid. Oh, what's up, man? I'm never going back. I'm never going back, man. I'm actually not that far from Virginia. If you want, when we do the training camps, you're more than welcome to come down. We'll be doing training camps in the summer on the East Coast, probably by the beach. So when the training camps start, you're more than welcome to come down. So going back to the point why people don't want to learn real stuff. Let me explain like this. I started training in 80s and 90s, and I met people who were still alive, who were born in the 1800s. I mean, people who, went through all the wars. First World War, Second War, Korean War, Vietnam War, okay? I trained all the way up to Desert Storm training people, okay? So I've seen generations of men. I've seen generations of martial arts. And then I watched the commercialization happen, because my teachers, the first I first started training with, all learned styles that were from pre-1950. And then later in the 90s, I started seeing the commercial schools. I had no connection to them. I didn't know what a commercial school was like. I've never taken a class in a storefront school. I've been hired to go and teach at storefront schools. Okay, and what's even crazier, I was watching those ads, like they'll literally say, looking for martial arts instructors, will pay you $15 an hour, no experience necessary. I was like, this is like in the mid 2000s now. It got so bad that by around 2010, I'm seeing ads for instructors with no experience. Okay, the kind of training I was doing as a kid, all right, and I trained with masters, lived with the masters. I did I did the old school way. The kind of training I was doing is child abuse. Okay, like if people find out, like if people go to jail. Okay, even at least in the end of the 90s, the commercial schools still had the old school people, and then people were still because it was ghetto in New York, and so the 90s was different. Okay, but by 99, it was karate birthday parties, fucking adult daycare. No one wants to get hurt. No one wants, you watch the point fighting competitions, and this guy on TikTok, I'm watching it. I'm like, I'm not saying it, but there's one guy he was showing that has special needs, right? And he's doing the form, and then he's showing other people that are normal adults doing the form, and you can't tell the difference. Technically, you can't tell the difference. It's insane. So you have two reasons you can't teach this stuff. One, it's too fucking hard. Okay, no one wants to sit around and train at least 3 hours a day. Okay, at least 2 hours a day. Let's be nice about it. Okay, 2 hours a day. Okay, our classes are 2.5 hours, and then we're supposed to train every day on our own. So we have 3 classes with the teacher, and then you train every single day on your own. And then he'll correct you and give you tips, but you're supposed to be doing your own training every fucking day. Okay, so most people aren't willing to do that, and most people, they don't have the attention span to sit there and worry about being precise and the pain and the focus and the dedication it takes to do those old styles. You know what I mean? You can't. It's not something you're gonna learn in these guys. They go to a karate school 2 hours a week, and in two years they're a black belt, and then they wonder why they're getting their fucking ass kicked. And on top of it, the technique is wrong. There's it's like golf and baseball. There's a certain optimal way to swing a bat. Okay? If you don't know it, you're not gonna get home runs. It just doesn't happen. So over generations, you have masters who made commercial schools who didn't want to make it too hard so people will quit and they can't keep the school open because it's a business, you have to fucking give up your morals. So you have that problem. Then you have people who are progressively lazier, progressively weaker, and progressively have less time and have more things to entertain themselves with. Also, they have less need to defend themselves, right? Because in the 80s and 90s in New York City, it was fucking insane. Okay, between the 70s to late 90s, New York City was a fucking different place. Even the punk kids were tougher. Even the kids you think would be the ones you're robbing and stuff and take their lunch money. Those kids would fuck up badly. The tough kids now. I'm not saying it just it's insane. The food's different. They have 70 more vaccinations than we had. They don't play in the street. They don't go outside, so their bone density is not right. They have bad coordination, and they have no balls. It's a different society mentally. So you understand why you can't even teach it that way. Then there's a systemic plan to make sure people are weak, to control them. Okay? Why do you think all the masters in China were murdered in the streets? What was the Boxer Rebellion about? What was all these things about? They don't want a population who's educated, who's self-sustaining, who's strong, who can defend themselves. Why do you think the crazy control, liberal left always want to get rid of gun control? And every place that is the blue people control, it's illegal to defend yourself. Like in New York City, for the longest time, you can get into a street fight, the guy can attack you, try to rob you, and you blast him in the face and he hits you on the concrete, and you go to jail for murder. Even though he attacked you. Even though you're defending yourself for your life. So, it's a lot of moving parts, and a lot of it's conspiracy, but it's conspiracy fact. It's conspiracy fact, okay? Totalitarian groups that want caste systems, they want to be part of this elite society, and then everyone else is fucking poor, living out of the fucking dumpsters, and they want you to die slowly and suffer while they milk you for your resources. What they call it human resources, okay? And you could trace it back to what happened to martial arts. But you've got to go back to 1956, because what happened before then? How is it that in my Korean style, Long Kuk Lee, right, Grandma's Long Kuk Lee, he was the first one to do a sanctioned school teaching police and blah, 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 and then, General Choi comes along with the KCIA, and they invent the name Taekwondo, and everybody has to be part of Taekwondo now. And then, all of a sudden, he has to flee Korea, and then he's written out of the history books. And then, if you look at the technique going down, even in Taekwondo, which Taekwondo now, even the shitty one is still better than most of the other styles, the technique is shit compared to what it was. You can't even find good examples of videos of those old masters from the original quads, the 5 quads. There's very difficult to find. You know what I mean? So there's a systematic repression of real martial arts. There's a social repression because it's like the prisoners are trained to, keep the prison in order. Like, why do so many people attack me for what? Giving them free shit? People don't like me because I'm right all the time. I think I know it. It's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm fucking right. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Don't think, fuck you. So it's like, they'd rather live a lie than, listen to the truth. What am I supposed to do about it? I have this guy complaining about, they say, oh, Damien doesn't know, how fascia works, and he's not qualified. I'm literally the only person certified qualified to speak on the subject. Like, in the tragic community, I'm the only one that's literally legally certified to talk about this shit. And then these idiots will come along because they saw some fucking paper tiger guy on YouTube talking about it, and me saying, hey, they're bullshitting you, but because they want to keep the status quo, they'd rather attack me and slander me, okay? Which I honestly, I have a lot of lawsuits that are available to me for the shit that's come up, you guys have done to me. But, I'd rather just abuse you than be a rat. But, no, I'm the only one qualified to speak on the subject. I literally took Tom Meyer's class in person 4 days. I have his book. I've had his book for 15 years. I have certifications in myofascial decompression techniques. Okay? I have a functional movement certified specialist. I'm fucking like, I'm the only one that's certified and qualified to speak on the subject, and they'll argue with me. Okay? It's more than 15 years now. I keep saying that because, whatever. I've had this one channel I've had for 12 years. And then, the other channels I've had since YouTube started, I was on Facebook, 15, 17 years? Whatever it is. And these idiots, the 5G project, and all these fucking gang-stalking retards, it's the same shit. It's a circle of fuckery. Okay? So, the deal with go back to the fascia thing, okay? I'm not saying that the fascia doesn't exist. What I'm saying is that all these paper tiger people who like to do the 5G demos and show how cool they are and they know this one thing, they only do it against a test dummy that's cooperating and saying, okay, you stand like this and I'm going to touch your fascia. Fascia means the skin. Okay, it's the face of things. Okay, your skin is a layer of fascia. Epidermis is fascia. Okay, when these guys are talking about touch the fascia, this is just in classics talking about rubbing and brushing. Okay, and it's just, you're literally pulling on the skin, which pulls on the fucking joints. Okay, tensegrity only works because there's a fucking hard object around the string objects, and the combination of thereof makes everything move. You have to move the axial skeleton. You have to move your spine. Okay, so they're using catchphrases that Marshall Mann and a couple of people associated with that came up with to try to explain and visualize to get people to do certain effects, but they took it overboard. And went to a fucking point to sound cool like his catchphrase to get people to get views and fucking sell money, okay? But these people are not that good, okay? And I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but now I'm being a dick about it because everyone's being really mean to me. So now I'm gonna be an asshole until people stop being mean. I'm gonna make them feel stupid. So the whole idea of this, the fascia and the fascia. First of all, when we're dealing with forces in Tai Chi, we're dealing with myofascial trains. Okay, there's 12 patterns of myofascia. Myo meaning muscle, and fascia means the fascia. Okay? Fascia is just basically like the skin membrane that surround muscle tissue and gives them the shape, path nutrients, and does some kind of proprioception, whatever. You know, there's a lot of fancy shit. But for the fucking most part, it's just a layer that gives muscle shape. Okay? And connects muscles to other muscle groups and passes forces between them. That's great. My thing is this. How can you separate the fascia from the muscle it surrounds? When Tom Meyer's entire claim to fame was that, you know, I worked in medical school, I fucking ran in medical school for 2 fucking years, okay? My office was next to gross anatomy for 2 fucking years. My first day of fucking the job, I go to the fucking office, and there's a fucking line of 20 cadavers, and they're going like, what's this? This is your office. I'm literally next to the freezer in the fucking gross anatomy lab for 2 fucking years. Okay, no one's seen more dead bodies than me. Okay? So when they start explaining stuff, they'll pull a little arm and say, oh look, the bicep does flexion. You know? But the guy's dead! You don't move like that when you're alive. So what Tom Myers is saying, no, we can peel this entire strip of muscle off. Okay? And the body moves in one strip. Okay? Now when people talk about the fascial web, yes, that's good, but they speak of it in a way that makes people think that you're somehow magically disconnecting the fucking skin and the tissue little layer around muscles and fibers, and somehow you're separating that and magically moving a person's axial skeleton and mass by touching the fucking little white fibers. Okay? No! It doesn't work like that. That's my point. Never say it doesn't exist, but it doesn't translate to the classics. People use a catchphrase, and all the people, except for a few that are in that martial band, you know, where the words are getting out from, they're all bullshit. They're all like little ladies and like, you know, Chinese guys with no honor and all this like weird stuff going on. And they like always do these fucking like, you know, little, I'm gonna sit here and do a demo, you're gonna do the thing. I'm the only one who you see, I'll play push hands with people and I'll do all this stuff in real time against someone not cooperating. Okay? No, I understand that, but let me explain this again. This catchphrase only came out after COVID, when all these fucking paper tigers came out and decided they wanted to make YouTube channels that had nothing else to do with their life. People like me and all the other masters, the real deal people, had their channels suppressed because, you know, look what happened to everybody. Do you not remember when you were wearing your mask and walking down the fucking aisles with goddamn arrows? So all these fucking paper tigers came over and took over the scene, and they're talking shit, and we're already have a fucking problem with people not knowing the difference between martial art versions of Tai Chi theory, and then the freaking Qigong stuff, and the park stuff, and people are just completely fucking oblivious and like delusional, and then people from the outside come together and they use the weakest link, the crazy delusional people, the people who never worked out in their life, people that got punched in the face before, and then they say that's all the Tai Chi, and then all the real schools get fucked. You understand? As a community in whole, everyone gets fucked because it's misleading people and misrepresenting what it is. Okay? It doesn't work that way. You can't separate the fascia. Okay? That's my point. That's always my point. And not only that, it's never spoken about in the classics. That's what I've been trying to fucking say to people. Okay? When you're doing brushing, even if you're doing it light, as soon as you tug on the fascia, the skin, what are you immediately doing? You're getting a response on the bone. Because it's origin insertions. The fascia is connected to what? The muscle around it. The skin's connected to what? The tissues around it. What does it do? It connects to the fucking bone. What's that bone do? It connects the axial skeleton. You're moving the fucking body. That's been my whole point the whole fucking time. Right? Fascia's been around for a long time. You know, Tom Meyer's been talking about this for 20 fucking years. I've known about this for nearly 20 years. Okay? No. Yeah, so I got into this. When did I get the first book? 2009, 10? I don't fucking remember. It's a long time ago since I understood what fascia was, okay? So, this is falling apart. Sorry, guys. I have a broken thing, so it's falling apart here. So, they're trying to say a lot of things, but why don't you say the thing? What was that? It said that Blaze. If you're trying to say the thing, just say the thing. Don't try to use fancy jargon to sell shit, you know? No, they're not. They're not talking about that. It's not true. It is not true at all. Okay? And you have to, you're reaching because they legitimately say tendons, ligament, and sinew. They don't say anything about the tissue that connects them. Okay? Doesn't say anything about that at all. When they talk about silk reeling on one level is talking about motion, to look and make the move look as if you're pulling silk from a cocoon. Okay? 2 would be to pull on the tendon lines that correspond with the meridian system, which so happens to correspond with the myofascial train. Okay? Myofascia. Myofascia. Not fascia, myofascia. Okay? The trains that go this way, not the latitudinal ones, the longitudinal ones. Okay? And that's the point. That then when you talk about this basic understanding of like 3rd grade level of physics, not like, anything fancy, if I push something this way, energy go that way. You can see I don't care about that stuff. I want to go along the line to his bones. Okay? And silk reeling on the other level is talking about the chi, which is, blood, or the ji, which is kinetic force. Okay? Most of the time they're talking about chi, they're talking about electromagnetic energy that's carried by the blood. So if you know how to move the blood, the same pathways the blood can move, the same direction the blood can move, the energy can move. The same pathway those two move, kinetic forces can move. Okay? So when you're talking about silk reeling in that sense, now we're talking about, can I grab your strings and can I grab your potential energy line, the vector of force that your mass is projecting to, and reel it like silk from a cocoon? That's what they're saying. Okay? I know this is hard for people to understand. Okay? And because I look like a metalhead and I'm ghetto, no one's listening to me because I'm right, but they don't like my attitude. I don't care. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to tell you the truth. Okay? You can either be right and be liked, or you can be liked and fucking bullshit people. I'm not going to bullshit people. Okay? It's not going to happen. And I can tell you that I have more time in the game than almost every single person that's in the scene right now. Okay? Like, this is not something to be argued about. And I'm certified up the ass. And, I've had a lot of clients, people I've done rehab for that, I've used the fascial theory to fucking fix their life. So, I'm the one who did the thing. I'm the guy. So, like, well, I've been nice and humble, but nice and humble has gotten me, nowhere. It's gotten me shitted on for 15 years by guys who are nobodies. So I have to be an asshole about it and speak to you in asshole terms so that people can clearly understand what I'm saying to you. Is this making sense? Okay? It does not say anywhere anything about, do you think they don't know, like, that skin, when you eat a steak, okay, there's fascial membrane, the white stuff is all fascia, okay? Just think about a steak, right, that's, that's fucking sitting in a goddamn, platter there before you cook it, and you have all the white little stuff. Some of it's fat, some of it's fascia. When you peel this edge of the steak, and it's fat, but then on top of the meat, there's this like rubbery white thing you peel off. That's the fascia. Do you understand how stupid what people are saying is? There's certain people like Mark Ramos who, they explain ideas, but if you paid attention to the big grand scheme, he's not stupid in saying that we're going to separate this one thing from your body and make you believe that that's the whole fucking thing. It doesn't work like that. So people heard people like him say things and give a little snippet, and then they said, oh, he's getting views. Let me get views too. And then, this is why I planned out a lot of this, and I said it, and I've hinted to it. I've trapped a lot of people by only showing certain things because I knew they were going to steal it. And it's kind of funny, like, my video of 5 seconds in print English, you can just look at the timeline of how many people were doing any kind of fascia, fa jing thing, okay? And then after that video, 18,000 views, the same people hated me all these fucking years. They will never give me a nod, but they'll all use my shit. How many people have been stealing my content in fragments, my words, my look, my things like that, and then rearranging the words, rearranging the content, and they'll get a trick and they say, let me show you the trick. Ooh, look, you see, you can do my trick. But they never do it against a non-compliant person, so what fucking good is it? And my point is a lot of paper tigers and a lot of people who are unsupportive, who talked a lot of shit. When I was supporting the community for nearly 20 years, I gave out free fucking lessons. I was giving out handouts. Like, this is the fucking, the fucking Tai Chi homeless camp, the fucking soup kitchen, okay? And people know, hundreds of people know that I was here for you guys for a decade, answering all your questions for free as a public fucking service. How many people defended me after these people started stealing my shit? Because good people don't want to fight. Good people don't want to stand up for anybody, right? Like, oh, well, he said he can handle it. So I handle it. But then you wonder why, like, the community's shit. Most people don't know how to move. And then forget about, like, the real versus fake stuff, you know? What are you saying? Then do a reaction video. What reaction? First of all, I've been literally in isolation for 5 fucking years. I went up against the establishment during COVID. They destroyed my life. I've been stuck in the middle of fucking nowhere. Who am I gonna demo with? Don offered, a couple times. Like, Don came by and he helped out. He fucking demoed some techniques. So you see on my fucking channel me demoing all the techniques. What, I have to do a side by side? No, I'm not gonna call out idiots. I'm not gonna give them any attention. The point is, the real stuff is here. You guys know it's the real stuff, and you don't want to give me credit for it. What am I going to do? It's like, I'm not going to, But here's the kicker. I've only shown you guys this much. I've only shown you guys this much of what I know. That's my point. I have thousands upon thousands of dollars. Listen, the Fajing Project people, the circles, the gang smoking people, they purposely went to, like, destroy people's channels, steal people's stuff. They work together as a little group to corner the market. There are a bunch of fucking thieving scumbags. But the deal is, I've only given out 5 to 10% of what I know. And even like the stuff that gets close to the stuff I know, I've only given people the surface amount. You guys don't know anything. You guys haven't seen anything yet. Like, you see me throw a couple of demos of like the Korean karate stuff. I've shown 2 kicks to explain how they work. There's another 24 basic techniques and the proper alignments I haven't even talked about. The Tai Chi, I know, how many different styles of Tai Chi do I know that I haven't spoken about, right? I haven't even, what's up, brother? So, like, I haven't even shown you guys the real form. I've shown you variations of other forms. I've never even shown you my form that I practice. Because I even tell people I have this form I don't show in public, but that's so fucking slow they don't get it. That's so stupid they don't get it. The problem is a lot of people have low IQ, they're selfish, they're narcissistic, they're psychopaths. All right, they're cult-like behavior, they only care about themselves, they'd rather fucking fight than help people. They don't care about honor and decorum and stuff like that, they just care about fucking holding shit. But I hope that I've made this really clear, all right? The word chi and ji in the old school way is written 2 different ways. There's a TED Talk of a guy who writes it in Chinese calligraphy and explains that ji and chi are 2 different words. Pinyin is broken. Pinyin doesn't make sense to the average English speaker because it's like a different version of English. The letters do not match up to the English equivalent. So then we're left with 2 bad versions of the spelling, Tai Chi Chuan and Tai Ji Quan Guan. Okay? And they're both wrong, which is why the spelling that I use is the English equivalent of the martial art version of Tai Chi. Okay? That's why I use that spelling specifically, and I don't care about SEO because I'm not selling anything. Do you understand? Because I don't care. I did this as a video log so there'd be a historical record of what I did. So if something was to happen to me, at least there'd be enough that people who really want to learn this shit, they can figure it out and then find little pieces and go on their own little merry way. That was the only mission I did with this channel. I don't give a fuck. That's what they're not understanding. I don't care. I don't care if you like me. I don't care if they want to be my friend. I don't care if they hate me. What I care about is when they go out of their way to try to hurt me. When I don't go out of my way to talk to anybody. I've literally commented on maybe 5 or 10 channels in the last 15 years. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Okay, try to wrap your head around that. I've made 2 videos where I called people out, and there was a show that was being shadow banned. And one of them, it was in good faith, so I removed his name. And I wasn't trying to make him look bad. I really was trying to help him, but I really was using it to show people who were watching me that I'm being shadow banned. If I can fucking tag somebody in a goddamn video, put their name on it, and no one ever sees it, something's fucking wrong. That was the whole point. That was the whole point of the thing. But, so that's the deal, And now I'm finishing my bulking season, because I had to put some weight. I got fucking poisoned. I lost a lot of weight, so now I'm almost done bulking. So I had to get myself fat, so I could put some weight back on and get my guns back. The sun's out, guns out. I gotta get get my muscles back for the freaking summer, Getting the old man strength. Look at these triceps, boys. Look at these triceps, boys. So that's the story. And like, you know, like I got idiots, these trolls who were sent by these groups. It's obvious they're all the same circle of people because they all say the same stupid shit. They all have the same fucking agenda. Nobody's more qualified than me to talk on the subject. I'm sorry. Even the guys who are famous now, they're not as qualified as I am. Like, you know, I'm not saying they're not, you know, good at what they do. Okay, but I mean, literally, my qualifications supersede them. My time in supersedes them. I've done more for free for the community than anybody around for free. Like maybe there's one or two people who did what I did. You know what I mean? And then I'm actually certified. I've been a master instructor training trainers at the very highest level in the world. How are these people coming to me and talking to me like I'm an idiot? You understand why? Because I sit on my video log in my pajamas and my, you know, workout gear. Like, if you know anything about real Tai Chi is in the parks. You know, it's in the parks in your regular clothes. Well, I appreciate that. You know, I like to say I'm one of the ones who work the hardest, the longest, and the most loyal. You know, I don't know if I'm the very, very best of anything because that's, you know, I never claim to be like the best of anything, but like I worked the hardest and the longest, and I was the most loyal, and I did the right thing as much as I could. You know, that's all I've ever asked for. Give me some fucking credit. You know, and you wonder why I treat people like assholes, is because I was so nice to them for so many years, and they kept coming after me by myself. Okay? Hundreds of people coming after me, trying to ruin my life for what? Because I was a Trump supporter, which I don't even vote. I don't even vote. It's against my religion. I don't even vote. I don't vote. I was reporting on the truth, okay? And then people like, you know, Trump bad. You know how many people gave me death threats saying I'm a white nationalist? I'm not white. I'm fucking Taino, I'm fucking Hispanic. I'm not white. People they wanted to kill me because I'm a white Republican. The shit that I've dealt with, complete on myself. Like, Denver tried to kill me because he thought I was a Republican. Like, the shit that I've dealt with in the last 5 years alone by myself here, you know, like, it's just insane. It's insane. And then all those people, and I think in the martial art community, when I was like, you know, trying to be a good end on saving the world, you know, and everybody's coming against, I figured in the martial arts community there would at least be more people with balls and honor that would stand up for me, you know, and like, you know, try to help me out, like when the shit was going down, but bunch of fucking pussies, you know, it's a disgrace. So anyway, I hope that makes sense, like how I've laid it out from the beginning here, okay? Ji and Chi are different words. What the fuck the guy with his guitar commented in the last video trying to explain to me what gong is, and I'm like, really? He's talking to like, you know, Pai Mei of the Concrete Jungle, the ghetto guy who has literally been my job for fucking 30 years, and you're gonna give me a lesson on the words? It's like, what's going on here? So like, I lived with a Chi Gong master, right? And it was in med school, and I was his apprentice, and we used to do like Chinan and Qigong, like, you know, on doctors, like royal colonist surgeons, all these like crazy doctors, and they would be freaked out. You know, I know what Qi Gong is, okay? Energy work. And it's not really work, because Gong is like something that takes a long time to cultivate, a skill. So like I play drums and guitar and all stuff. That's a form of Gong Fu, okay? It's a skill, right, that takes a long time to cultivate and do. So you can be like, you know, have Gong Fu anything, okay? You could be Gong Fu baker when you come to the like etymology of how the word operates. You know, so when you say like Qi Gong, it's like, you know, energy efforts, right? And that's why I'm saying a more correct way to describe the modern style that's been government sanctioned by the Qing, okay, in 1956 and on, is really Tai Chi Gong, right? Because it's a Qi Gong exercise that was loosely based on the movements of a martial art that was banned and the originators were murdered. Let me say this again. The Tai Chi that people do is a Qi Gong exercise loosely based on the choreography that came from masters who were murdered by the government who sanctioned the release of the Qi Gong exercise you're practicing. Is this making sense to you? So the people who murdered the guys who invented the movements had an organization come together and release choreography based on the movements to teach Qigong. Wrap your head around this. Okay? So that's why there's so many different camps. Tai Chi wasn't even the real name of the art. It was loose boxing, cotton boxing, this and that. What do you call it? Chen style it was long fist. It was based on long fist with Tai Chi principles. Okay? Like Yang style was like all these animal styles that they added Tai Chi principles, because Tai Chi is not a style. Tai Chi is a theory set based on this. And that's my name, by the way. Okay? If you didn't know. It's my name on there. Okay? This is my secret scroll shit. That's my name. Okay? So, the point being is, this symbol and the 8 trigrams, right, create all the other things. The concepts. You can apply these concepts to anything. That's why Tai Chi is not a style. Tai Chi is a principle set that you integrate with other systems. This is making sense now. So when people are sitting here, like the 5 energy guy who disrespected me by coming to my student's fucking page and disrespecting, oh, he's doing it wrong. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay? And to not even have the right decorum to introduce yourself or be like nice about it, you know, you disrespect your ancestors by speaking that way. You lose face. And to not even apologize and know you did something wrong. It's not me. Okay? The old Chinese masters that taught this style were killers who would have literally had you sign a death waiver and would have ripped your fucking organs out or fucking popped your liver with the Den Mach thing. Okay? Or Young Manho would like stab you in the throat to hear you sing like the swallow. Like these guys were insane. So you don't know what you're talking about. And you're welcome, Don. You guys don't know what you're talking about. And then you come to me, argue with me, and I'm like one of the most legit people here. I'm like I follow all the old rules. You know, I do all the old things. But different times call for different measures. I can't be the Buddhist Christian guy surrounded by fucking peasants. Look what they did to Jesus. Look what they do to the Buddhists. All the Buddhists, what happens to them? They get fucking attacked. Their fucking temples get burnt down. All the Christians, they get their fucking heads cut off. Right? Until there's crusades. You know? So it's like, it's like, what am I supposed to fucking do? I can't be nice in this era. You won't allow me to live by those principles. I always say this. You cannot be, what is it? My message, you want to test a Buddhist enlightenment, send them to the city on vacation with their parents. Okay? Everybody's a fucking Buddha. Everybody's a Buddha when they're living in a little sanctioned community, you know, when they're on their retreats, when they're in Thailand drinking their fucking fancy drinks and smoking cigars. Everybody's the Buddha. Come to the fucking hood and live my life and see how much Buddha you can be. Have all these fucking peasants attacking you for trying to give them free shit. If they attack Jesus, why would they attack me? You understand? You can't be nice to these people. These are fucking demons. You have to speak like this to get the point across because they see kindness as a weakness. What I've learned is that when you're living amongst like the lower and middle classes, like I've lived among everybody, from like billionaires to fucking homeless people. I've seen it all. I've interacted with all these different groups. I mean, like I have friends that are ridiculously wealthy. I have friends that are ridiculously poor. And I can tell you that mannerisms that are respected in certain classes will get you taken advantage of in other places. People see like normal kindness and extra smiles and giving too much as a fucking weakness. They think you're a punk bitch. When you're living amongst the peasants, it's like a prison system. You can't be too nice. And you've seen me being nice to people and how they treat me. Right? When they see me alone, I'm a target. And they don't realize that I'm not what you think I am. I don't give a fuck. I will take all of you. I really don't care. I really don't care. You know, you guys don't get it. You guys don't get it. You know, I've gone up against the things I've done in my life and the groups I've gone up against alone. Hundreds of people, multi-million-dollar corporations, putting my face and my ass in the line to save fucking rejects. You think I'm afraid of these fucking douchebags? You're gonna think coming. Okay? But that's why I have to present it this way. Because when I don't present this way, they come out of their fucking face, say, this Bushido guy. Like, I'm the Bushido guy that's fucking, like, what Bushido about me fucking smashing a hole through a 150-pound bag? What's the Bushido about me sparring fucking with no gear? What's the Bushido about me saying, okay, come at me, throw whatever you want? What's the Bushido about me going through New York for decades and taking anybody who wanted to play with me under any fucking rules, and everybody, there's people who didn't saw it. What's bullshit all about that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what am I supposed to do other than say I'm gonna hit you with a fucking brick if you don't stop? You spoke before about the Taoist concept of the universe as Earth being a disk and the pole star above. Do you have any elaboration on this? It's not practical. Okay. The globe model has only been around since 1901 or whatever it was, okay? And like, you know, there's a whole bunch of arguments about this, and I'll get myself freaking, you know, more shadow banned than I already am speaking about the pizza Earth. Okay, so I have too many important things to do to elaborate at this time, but, you know, it was actually illegal. The same thing as usury, to charge interest on a loan. Usury was illegal and punishable by death, okay, all across the world. And that's why we're living in the slavery we are now. All this interest rates, all this fucking inflation is caused by usury of the lending money and interest. If you get rid of the interest, there's no inflation. That's how you save everything. It's fucking simple. Okay? But it's a slave system. Anyway, the globe pizza thing is only believable because the first fucking thing you ever see as a kid is this fucking globe. Okay? That's the thing. You know? Once you look at it, and it's gonna come out this year anyway. Okay, you're gonna find out that the moon thing was fake. You're gonna find out all this stuff's happening. They have to release it because when the aliens show up, they're gonna have to explain a lot of things. Okay, and it's not gonna be what people are not going to hear the real idea. They're not going to hear it. It's gonna fuck up a lot of people. You know, because it is what it is, guys. All right, you've been taught to not believe your own fucking eyes. You've been taught to not question science, and it's not science unless you basically question the hypothesis constantly, test it, retest it. If you're not allowed to retest the hypothesis, it's not science. It's slavery. Okay? When they give you the fucking math and like 6 feet per 9 miles squared, and you go out and it's like not there. But yeah, every single philosophy, every single religion, all agreed up until 100 years ago, all right, that the Earth was a pizza under a glass fucking dome, and it was basically a magnetic fucking pole thingy. And you had the sun and the moon were local, and you can see it right there because the sun was a billion fucking miles away, and it's hot here. It's not going to make a difference if it's this many degrees hot. There's so many stupid things. I mean, you can talk. I don't want to say too much. I don't want this video to get suppressed. I want this to get out a little bit. But as it comes down to practicing, and like, if you think of the Earth as a AA battery, the nipple, okay? Think of it like that. If you look at the nipple of the AA battery, and you have the bump and then the ring around it, so you can think of it kind of like that. You have a positive ion charge that comes down from the North Star, then you have a negative charge around the ring, and then you have this holodeck reality, which is why all these things can remain solid. But that's like going into crazy, secret Buddhist shit that I'm not supposed to be talking about. So that's as far as I'm going to get with that. But, do your own research. Because I'm already in trouble enough, guys. I've already spent my time saving the world, okay? But in order to really, whether you believe in the fucking pizza Earth or the fucking, spinning bubble that doesn't shoot water off in a fucking vacuum, and the sun being 9 billion miles away, but for some fucking reason, you can see a triangle of light through the clouds, whereas if it's that far away, it'd always be straight, and, the water doesn't fucking spill off of it, and you don't feel it, and, when you do push-ups, it doesn't make a difference what side you're on. Whatever. Just make believe that you're on a AA battery's nipple. Because if you want to learn the art the way they did it, you have to understand why they did it the way they did it. So when you're doing Qigong, you have to understand where the North Star is to connect to the pole. If you don't understand that, you're not doing Qigong correctly. You have to feel the pipeline and the magnetic wave. You have to feel it. If you don't feel that, you don't have the Qi. And that's part of the thing. It's like if you don't know what you're standing on, subconscious mechanisms can't program the body to create the effect. So that's another thing. You know what I mean? But that's as much as I can say for now. Okay. But that's basically it. Look up 200 proofs that is not a spinning ball. It's actually a thing. By a guy named Eric something. I'm not going to say it anymore. But look that up. And as for the martial art aspect of it, as a trainer, and they talk about the Coriolis effect, no one ever accounts for that shit. It's bullshit. No one ever does that. Okay? No one ever deals with that shit. That's such a lie. Okay? This is such nonsense. As a trainer, if I'm making somebody do push-ups, right, the effect of someone doing push-ups north-south versus east-west, right, or like at the equator versus like, the northern side, there'd be different effects of gravity on the person's body. You couldn't have a gravitational constant on a spinning fucking ball, right, at different parts because the outside the ball spins faster than the top. So the effects would be different. There's a whole bunch of things that don't make sense. But anyway, just make believe that you're on a pizza and there's a battery up there that hits you on the top of the head. And do your breathing and go, ooh, chi, smile to the organs. Like when you see all the things like the Chinese, like it's all occult stuff to hide this, like your body and the thing and the there and the zip zap and the bop bop and it comes up to your heart and goes whoop whoop. So when you got all that stuff together, you get the Tai Chi thing. So I'm giving you guys my sun time. I have any tea here? Let me get a little bit of tea. I'll hide out here in a minute, and then I'm gonna go get some sun for the sunrows now. Because so this symbol here basically is the symbol that has the key to all of my martial arts in it, and the theory behind how to use it. And then more of this information will come out from the Tai Chi United side. Because again, people forget, unlike the other people on YouTube, I didn't do the Tai Chi here as a business. I did it as a record of my past because I figured if they're going to kill me off, at least all the work I did for the past 30 years, there'll be traces of it. You know what I mean? This wasn't a business, okay? But when the story gets out, because it takes a couple of months for this to be explained, like, why I'm doing what I'm doing now and what is going on in the other places. When you find out the real story, it all makes sense. But anyway, how do you know if you practice too much or not enough? Well, you can never practice enough, right? But practicing too much is this. Like, you never practice enough, but you can't practice too much. Practicing too much. So you get injured by excessive rep, excessive velocity, excessive load. So basically, if you're, let's say weightlifting for instance, like me as a trainer doing functional movement, how do people hurt themselves? Because if you have perfect form, right, and you have the rest of the weight load, you're going up, okay, I do my press. Okay, great, do my press. When do people get hurt? Because there's a defect in the form. And forces will go out of a joint or a hinge or a tendon at a bad angle. Why does the form break down? Form breaks down, excessive repetition, excessive velocity, speed, excessive load, right? So if you're overworking to the point where your body and your mind can't sustain good technique and you can't actually think about what you're doing, you've overworked. If you've gone to a point where you've worked so hard that your body's not regenerating, you've overworked. But you could never practice too much. So it's what you're practicing at the appropriate times and learning how to cycle. Right? So you shouldn't be practicing at 100%. If it, like, for instance, like, there should be down times and up times in your training seasons. Okay? You have your light cycle, your mid cycle, and your heavy cycle. Like, you're getting ready for an event. Let's just say I'm young again. I'm going to go fight some tournament, And the tournament is in, like, December or September. Let's just say like September, right? I'm not going to start training to peak performance in February and try to sustain peak performance all the way through to September. That's like driving the car on red line and burning all the fucking bushings and shit in the engine. You know what I mean? So you never want to be at 100% capacity, because that's going to hurt you. You know what I mean? So we want to follow this rule, 72%, 72 to 28 rule. The 72 to 28 rule is what I always tell people. You want to never push yourself past 72%. You know what I mean? For the majority of the time. Yeah, you can go overboard a couple of times, but that's training too much. You can never you can never practice too much, but you can overdo it. You can fuck yourself up. You know what I mean? So most importantly is like geometry. Make sure your geometry is correct, your alignments. Like in any sport or any martial art or anything in the world, the defining mark of man is a right angle. There's no right angles in nature, right? L7 weenie or square. Okay, so that's why there's a square here. There's two squares behind me. So the defining mark of man is a square, right? And when we make these angles, everything we've ever created comes from the idea that we can make a right angle. All right, we understand what a right angle is. We know how to measure things. So when the problem with martial arts is people don't seek perfection in the little things, right? They just want the pretentious stuff. They want like, oh, it's good enough. You have to spend time making sure the angles are perfect, right? And the timings are perfect. So you should only train as long as you can without programming bad alignments, without burning something out. So that means you have to take a break for that day. Okay, take a break for a couple of days, sometimes a couple of months. You know, so that's training too much. But that's basically it. Does that make sense? I mean, you know, it depends on the person. Everybody's, you know, like right now, I've like been poisoned 3 times, had 2 surgeries that fucked me up. I broke my fucking spine. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not in a position to be like overtraining right now. You know what I mean? And that's why, you know, I had to go through a bulk season because I lost 5 pounds because they poisoned me. You know? So there's seasons. There's seasons, you know what I mean? And hopefully after I finish relocating, you know, this year I'm gonna go and get myself back in shape. Because people who used to know me, I was fucking superhero jacked. There's pictures of me on my community tab when you see me like fucking jacked, like superhero jacked. You know, so like there's seasons in life. You know what I mean? You can't sustain that forever. You know, you just can't do it mentally. Like, listen, I mean, I trained for 40 fucking years. I've been teaching professionally 30 years. How long can I keep up my peak condition? You know what I mean? You know. So like right now, I make sure that like my technique and like my basic stuff is always good enough that if some douchebags that fuck with me, they get handled. Like, you know, last year on New Year's Eve, I had to fucking handle somebody. You know, so like I make sure that you know, I'm good enough to handle, you know, what I gotta handle. But I'm not in like any competition position. You know, I'm fucking got my little belly finally, which I've, you know, I've been growing this. And there's seasons. There's seasons to be jacked, there's seasons to be skinny, there's seasons to be, you know, lazy. Sometimes you just gotta freaking have a vacation. You know what I mean? So, but you can overdo anything. Just 72-28. That's all I can tell you. How cool is this thing? It's kind of cheesy, but I kind of like it. You know, that I have this fake green screen thing. It was totally a fucking accident. I pressed trying to find out why the camera's in reverse, and I pressed the button, and it said green screen. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I was like, oh, I can put a picture up. So, yeah, so that's it. So this is the new emblem for our school, and that's my name. I'm the Grandmaster Sifu guy. You know, but this design I've been using. Even my gaming channel, this design is another version of it without the yin yang. That explains the theory. Like everything I do is based on this theory. The music I do, the martial arts I do, even when I was, you know, designing game strategies, it's like the same theory. So if you really understand it, it'll like, oh, that makes sense. You know, but it's a lot of study. You know, that's another thing. Going back to like why people can't learn the real stuff. What is the real stuff? Like for instance, like your old karate styles, it's like neurosurgeon level. If you have, they say like most like the MMA guys. They're like, you know, trauma doctors. Like they have a knowledge of like trauma level knowledge. All these guys, none of them talk shit about like the hardcore underground goons, like the fucking old school karate guys with the fucking hands are made of bricks. Okay, like the old school Shaolin guys, and they're fucking smashing fucking stones with their hands all day. You know, they don't talk about those martial arts. It's kind of make believe they don't exist. They just have to talk about the mainstream people so they can feel better about themselves. No one's talking about the real shit. You know what I mean? And you know, when they see somebody like me, it's like, I don't consider myself, because I remember the masters who taught me who were fucking terrifying, you know? And I try to be as good as I can get. But I got to a level where like 99.9% of the population is trash. So then they've been doing stuff, they've been doing it wrong their whole life, and I come around and I try to help them be nice and correct, and then they hate me because they're not me. So instead of giving me respect and trying to work at me, they don't want to like ruin my name and come up with all these fucking weird lies and all this shit. You know, like what else to fucking do? It's the nature of the world we're in. But that's it. That's the story, guys. So I think I cleared up the idea. I haven't said it again because of fucking Tai Chi for dummies. Chi, Ji are a different word. Okay. Chuan is fist or hand for martial arts. Pinyin is bullshit. QUAN makes no sense. Any form that came after 1956 that was sanctioned by the government, you have to question, is it real? Because they're the ones who killed the masses before then, hung them in the streets and chased them out of the country, and then decided, oh, we should make something for the people to get national heritage. Taekwondo, right? You know, the same fucking thing. I'll get to that in a second. Taekwondo is the same thing, right? Thomas Sano was Tang Dynasty of China. Su, you know, his hand dove his way up. Comes from Shotokan, right? Karate was China hand way. So you have all these countries during the Korean War, like right before 1956, that they were all fighting for dominance and their own national identity. Nobody wants to give the other countries credit. Most of the high-level Japanese masters from the time, Masoyama, they're all Korean guys who changed their names. Most people don't know that. The real history is so fucked up, and I happen to know it, which is why people don't like me. Okay? But if you look at the old stuff, you know, and then you see how it degraded, you know, the same thing happened in Taekwondo. General Choi with the KCIA came in a fucking brothel and invented the name Taekwondo, right? And Taekwondo was literally a name that was supposed to unify all Korean martial arts for national heritage, but then they codified it and then systemized it and then commercialized it. And I said the story before where, like, I went into a Korean master school in New York, I waxed his entire school, and then he gave a speech how they do a sport and I do a religion, and then took me in the back and said, we don't teach traditional, but we'll teach you, because my master sent me. Okay? The old masters know. I'm not bullshitting. Okay? So it's a really weird fucking world, and at this point we can't just fix it because there's too much laws, people are too brainwashed and fucking, and they're gonna be pissed that if I tell them the truth. You've been practicing bullshit for 30 years, it's not my fault. You've been living a lie. It's not my fault. You know, now we can fix it, or we can make your lie better so it actually does what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to make you help to teach Qigong. Let's make the Tai Chi Gong work. And if we're teaching martial art, let's go back and teach you the martial art the way it's supposed to fucking work, or the best we can. Make sure the distinction between the Qigong version and the freaking fighting version, and then the sport version, which that's my you know, Grandmaster Chen, from William Chen lineage, they make a distinction between the Qigong practice and the sport practice. They don't fucking play games, right? All the people from my lineage don't fucking play games. These are professional sport guys. These are guys who are fighters. These are guys who are doing it for health. And everybody knows it, right? It's very clear. How come nobody else can do that? Now, all I'm saying, going to that Ace Research guy, is that's a very good way to classify it, and I want to make sure he gets the credit for it, because I promised him in his comments I'd give him the credit, and I know people stole it from me watching my videos and passed it along the fucking food chain, and now I hear other guys with their big channels saying my fucking term that I got from him. Because they're all bunch of thieves, okay? So, that's where I'm at. Now, going back to the question, why don't I see it? He said, what the fuck? He said, is Buddhism more practical than Taoism? I think that was the question, right? So, Taoism is basically taking the red pill and understanding how the physical matrix works. Okay, we live in a binary system. Anybody who's doing Tai Chi, who's into the DEI stuff, who's into the multiple gender stuff, you're a complete fraud. Because you can't be a Taoist and believe in multiple genders. Taoism instantly discredits this multi-gender liberal theory. You can't be a Tai Chi practitioner and support DEI. You can't do it. Okay? As much as you want to fucking make be happy, joy. If you fucking are supporting DEI and you do martial arts by this and you're a Taoist, you're a fucking fraud reject. You have the IQ of a fucking wet mop. You understand? Because literally all of physical reality is based on this. This is the matrix. It's a binary system. Computers, zeros and ones, right? Quantum computers, zeros and ones, half a 0, 1, half a 1, 0. Literally nothing in this demiurge fucking matrix reality can exist outside of this symbol. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing exists in physical reality outside of this. It cannot exist. That's what Taoism is, okay? It's a physical matrix. Now, there's aspects of Taoism that they've mixed into like spirituality and old spiritualities that had different names that they overlaid. Then you have like, you know, like Chinese witchcraft Taoism and like, you know, magic and deities and all stuff like that, which is something that was culturally integrated. That's what Chinese people do. They're not like Americans who are cult-like, and there's only, it's like they gel things together and they make a symbiont thing. So the Taoism that we have over thousands of years is not exactly really one thing. It's a thing that was overlaid with a thing that became another thing. Buddhism, what form of Buddhism? So I started, my very first understanding of Buddhism was like, it was like 13, 14, I started trading Zen, Zazen, and all the samurai shit. And then I lived with a Chan and Pure Land master, and that's why I went and became a Buddhist. So, I have a very different view on Buddhism than the Mahayana guys and the other people. Okay? Like, I started Buddhism because I wanted to be a samurai killer. That was as a child, I was training like Musashi, like literally, that was my goal. Okay? That was my goal. I was literally trained to be a ninja. Okay? And then I found that the ninjas were Chinese, not Japanese. So you have what's the word for internal martial arts? Neijia, right? Neijia. What a coincidence. Ninja is very similar, right? What a coincidence that the Japanese made kata, was the old word for China, into empty, because they want to empty China out. Okay? Do you think that the Japanese people with their honor code could accept that the Chinese people were kicking their ass and murdering them? The Chinese people were the ones who were stealthy. The Chinese people were the ones who were like into subterfuge. It wasn't Japanese. You know what I mean? So that was how that path went. So, to me, Buddhism is preparing you for death and teaching you what happens when you die and the mechanics of the metaphysical system and how that interacts with the physical system, which is Taoism. And then you have your yin yang again, whereas to me, like, the spiritual aspect of Taoism is some form of other versions of Buddhism and other things that were culturally made to fit on top of the Taoism. I don't believe that Taoism originally was that. Taoism was very, matter of fact. And Buddhism was more about the metaphysical, Taoism about the physical. And then, the cultures collides and all these, trades and all these things happen, family traditions, and, now you have a spiritual aspect of Taoism. But when you rip off the cultural clothing, Taoism teaches you about physical matrix, how it works, how it operates. Buddhism teaches you about the metaphysical matrix and how it operates, and what you do to survive death and how to get the fuck out of the system. That's the whole point of breaking out. The whole point of Buddhism is to get the fuck out of this place. So when you die, you don't come back here. Okay? That's the whole point. And then some idiots like us come back here over and over again to save idiots like you. That's the whole thing. That's the whole system. So is one more practical? No, they serve different purposes. You know what I mean? And also, you got to avoid cultural versions of the arts, and remember that the enemy controls everything, so they teach you back and wrong on purpose. Buddhism is taught backwards on purpose. The Eightfold Path, the Four Noble Truths. The Eightfold Path is not, something you have to do. The Eightfold Path is when you sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up, sit there and breathe and stare at the sun for a little while, or stare at the moon for a little while. All of a sudden, you kind of just snap back into freaking, not being a moron, and you just happen to live right action, right speech, right livelihood. But right action and right speech and right livelihood should be dictated by the environment you're within. If you try to act in the pretentious way that Buddhists are supposed to be, you're supposed to act this way. Okay? This is not how it works. The right action, right livelihood, right thought has to mix with the people in the community that you're living within so that you can survive. Okay? If I try to explain Buddhism, and my master told me this in 2000, is the reason, you can't teach people Buddhism because nobody wants to sit there and watch an hour movie about a guy sitting like this and talking like this. It's boring. It has no emotion. It doesn't connect to them. It doesn't get past the critical factor. You need somebody to go, hey, asshole! You're gonna get stuck in the matrix. You're gonna fucking die and come back again. It's gonna suck. Wake the fuck up. That's how you have to. That's the right action and right speech to people. If you're trying to warn somebody on a fire, and your house or the temple's gonna burn down, and the Buddha's like, you should never yell and should always be peaceful and quiet. The fucking house is burning down. You're fucking idiot. Otherwise, they're not gonna get it. Oh shit, the house is burning down. So what is right action and right speech and right livelihood? There's things that you'll get mixed up with culture and cult-like behavior and pretentiousness and hierarchy. You have to remove all of that. You know what I mean? And see the essence of the things. You know, it's very simple. Sit down, shut the fuck up, stare at the sun, stare at the moon, listen to yourself breathe, and all of a sudden after a while, you're like, oh, this is bullshit. It's not very hard, guys. Okay? Literally line up your spine, connect your little dome to the freaking little button on the top, sit there and breathe for a while, stare at the fucking sun, stare at the moon, and go, oh, and listen to yourself breathe, and all of a sudden things start to make sense. Then you start walking the path, because you are the path. It's not a path you have to fucking find. You have to sit down, shut the fuck up, and then you become the path. The problem is that, you know, if you're thinking that you have to conform to these external pretentious rule sets in order to be a good Buddhist or a good Taoist or a good Christian, then you're not being good because you're being controlled by something external. Right? If you have to live your life in fear of being accepted by a group of people to fit into their narrative of what Buddhism is, or because like how many different versions of Buddhism are? You know, I'm a Pure Land and like, you know, Chan Buddhist, like, you know, that was my whole life. You have all the Tibetan Buddhism, you have the freaking other Buddhism, you have, they disagree on how you're supposed to live. You know, they disagree on the culture. You know, like some people can eat meat, some people can't eat meat. Sometimes the monks can eat meat if it's triple clean, sometimes they can't. You know, in some sects you can eat eggs, you can eat fucking like, you know, oysters, but in some sects you can't. So who's the right one? Right? Like, you know, the whole point is to do the least amount of harm, right? And to protect the sentient beings. You can't protect sentient beings by being a fucking pussy who never curses and never smacks somebody in the face. Okay? It's not gonna work. Not in these times. Alright? That's why all the temples get burned down. That's why all the communities of Buddhism, they get fucking raided and murdered. Because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Why do you think they had Shaolin warrior monks? Because they were getting fucking manhandled and killed. Because you're not in the happy place. You're not in the Pure Land. You're in hell. You're in the first layer of hell. Do you understand? So you're not going to survive the first layers of the hell realms by being like, you know, this godly saint and interact with freaking people who are demon possessed. So which version is practical about Buddhism? Which version? You know? It's like, I can tell you this through testing, okay? And none of you are stronger than me, and none of you are more stubborn than me. I've gone through the gauntlet, being the good model Buddhist, and my life was destroyed trying to play that role until I understood that you cannot play that role if you don't have a community to back you up and protect you. You cannot be that person. Because these demons will destroy you, they'll rob you, they'll try to fucking they'll do anything they can because they see the light and they want to just consume it and destroy it. Okay? So that's the reality. Which Buddhism and Taoism is more practical? They both serve a different purpose, but if you get sucked into cult-like behavior and authoritarian dissemination of knowledge, you're fucked. Okay? Your previous argument was about abusive standard procedures, and now you're saying don't belong. Wait, listen to what you just said. My argument is about abusive standardized procedures, and I'm also saying don't belong to a certain sect, because my argument is abuse of standard procedures, and so just change it to, you know, it literally, you just made my point. They're both, and here's the thing about Taoism that's interesting. You can have two truths that are conflicting, but are simultaneously true running in parallel. Okay? That's another thing that's very tricky. But here's the thing. The raw information, okay? For instance, 2 + 2 = 4, right? You know, or let's just say like, you know, 22 times 11, you know, and you have this math problem. How many different ways can you do that math problem, right? And depending on what years you grew up in school, they taught you a different way. Now they have Common Core, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Common Core has no common sense. But you can see they have a different process, right? But in the end of the day, it's 22 times 11 equals blah. You know what I'm saying? So if you get wrapped up in the way that groups and, you know, the defect in humans to be in cults and groups for survival mechanisms, to be in tribes, right? And their fear of leaving the tribe for their survival is an inbred fear of like, you know, if you're all alone, you're gonna die, right? Most people couldn't survive how I live, right? Being like the lone wolf and fucking renegade monk, they can't do that. So there's a part of your subconscious that wants to feel needed and part of the community, right? And feel accepted by people, because if not, you can die in the wild. If your tribe pushed you away, you can die. You know, approach anxiety. When you go to pick up a girl, Every single guy, you know, like when and your heart starts beating, it's not because you're afraid of the girl. Because hundreds of years of evolution, if your tribe saw you attempt to talk to that girl and she didn't like you, she made fun of you, that would lower your value, and then none of the other girls would mate with you, and you wouldn't be able to pass your genes on. And then if it was somebody else's chick, right, or even nobody that doesn't want to compete with you, other fucking tribe would come and smash your fucking head in to steal the girl. Okay? So there's things inside your body that are genetic memory and fear-based to stay in collectives, in groups, even when it's bad for you. Because sometimes, look at the Fascia Project people, right? There's no, like, come on, man. They fucking ban world champions, they send people after me, they fucking try to, like, ruin people's lives. You know, but people are afraid to leave the group, they want to be accepted by a group because it has a name, and it just literally, it's an imaginary thing. They want to be accepted by a fucking group. This is a defect in humanity that was engineered to make them slaves. So, when you understand this and you start to go and learn truth, you have to be able to see the essence of the truth, but get rid of all the stuff on top of it, right? You have to be able to look at a symbol and study it and take ideas from these groups and understand, but then realize sometimes the practice is bullshit, right? And when you want to look at it as like the actual, let's put it this way. If you take Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, for the most part, is like, if you have a race car and you took the frame off, okay? And then I can take that same car and put a different frame. Like you have like kit cars where you can have a Lamborghini that's on top of a fucking Pinto, that's on top of a Honda Civic, right? So all the stuff on top of it isn't the engine, isn't the substance. So you can have a practice of spirituality, but you can remove all the decoration, all the cultural junk, and all the stuff that was laid on top of it and get to the raw essence of what it means. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You can be a Taoist and a Buddhist, but not be associated with any of these sects because they don't own the right to the essence of consciousness. You understand? That's what I mean by the coming of the Dharma ending age, where it's like all the extra bullshit of the teachings of these false teachers who put themselves in between you and the knowledge, the light from the Buddha. I mean, the Buddha was what? The Buddha, the limited light, right? Jesus, Lucifer was fucking, the light bearer. All this fucking stuff, the same thing about like light being knowledge. Light's a fucking, a verb. It's fucking passing on the freaking photon information, okay? You have to get to the raw substance of something. What is Taoism really? Like, when you take away the spiritual this and blah, 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 what is it really? It's fucking telling you there's only this. There's only guys and girls. There's only day and night. There's only sun and moon. There's only fucking winter and summer. There's only, it's a binary system. Everything comes in a binary system. Then you have, the quantum computers. It's just this, where you have half a 0, 1, half a 1 a 0. It's literally everything's in here. That's what Taoism is. Everything else is extra. Okay? Everything else is extra. Talk about Buddhism. What is Buddhism? Buddhism is basically explaining to you the same way the Gnostic teachings are, that your soul, your conscious, the observer mind has been trapped in a fucking hell prison, okay? And we've been here being trapped and fed on by some kind of like, elemental thought form parasite that's trying to feed off of certain frequencies of energy that are basically emanating off of us. And then we get trapped here by our own confusion because this body, the AI consciousness in our body, right, what you think is you, is trying to trick your spirit into thinking you're it and keep you here so that when you die, you go, oh, I want to go back here. And then they can keep feeding you like a fucking soul farm. That's Buddhism, okay? And then you have, elemental thought forms or like other external beings, consciousness that don't have a body, who will come and help you when you call upon them. So, depending on what sect you are, what ancestors you have, and what bloodline you are, you align to certain deities and ancestors, right? So when you call on them, they come, and like weird shit starts to happen. And that's spirituality in a nutshell, okay? Does that make sense? That's a crash course in the essence of Buddhism and Taoism. But, if like, the thing is, when people want to look at it through a cultural lens, they're always, it's like I have pink glasses on. I'm always going to read everything in fucking pink. You know what I mean? They think that, oh, I don't do Buddhism this way, I'm not a Buddhist, right? Like, for instance, like, should you eat, for instance, like, some Buddhists, you're allowed to eat meat if it's triple clean. Right? So some Buddhist monks, meaning, I can go and eat meat if I go to someone's house and they invite me to their house for dinner. They didn't invite me to their house for dinner. I just happen to show up, they invited me to come hang out, and they're eating dinner, and there's a fucking dead animal on the table. I could eat it if it wasn't prepared for me, if I didn't pay for it to be killed, You know what I'm saying? And I had nothing to do with the killing. It's like triple clean, they call it. But if I come in and they offer to make it for me, or to buy it for me, or prepare it specifically for me, I can't eat it. You understand? So they call it triple clean, so that your consciousness energetically is not connected to the killing of the animal, right? Sometimes they're like, what? What is this? You know? Some sects, like, you know, you're allowed to eat eggs, right? Or you're allowed to eat oysters and mussels because they know how the consciousness, supposedly, right? Other sects say, no, you can't eat anything's alive. Okay? So, who's right? You know what I mean? And then, like, so then which Buddha are you talking about? Because there's a lot of Buddhas. People don't know this. Like, you know, like, I don't practice the same Buddhism that they do. Well, because Zen, like I said, is Buddhism without the extra bullshit until you get to the cultural aspect of the Zen extra bullshit. And, you know, me as the renegade monk who trained and fucking, you know, was sent on my path, I defy all these rules. There was a really famous Zen monk who was always in the brothel screaming at people. He was like one of the most famous, like, monks. I forgot his name, but I used to always, like, you know, refer to him as, like, the drunk monk. He used to go around and, like, he was, you know, revered as one of the, like, highest spiritual guys. He was like this monk who just is always drunk and in a brothel. You know, Buddha was talking about non-attachment, right? So it's the idea, like, you know, it was that Doku in the fucking, the samurai thing with Musashi was like, you know, never have preference for where you live, you know, don't defend the Buddhas. There's a whole list of these things. I used to preach this shit, like, you know. It's just not being attached to this world because this world's not real and you're going to die and nothing matters. So you got to prepare for what happens after you die. That's Buddhism. Live a good life so that when you die, you don't have any regrets, so you don't come back here. Because if you have a lot of regrets and a lot of fucking weight in your consciousness, when you leave, you're like, I didn't finish what I started. You know? You didn't get laid enough. So there's like two different ways of the path. There's like the left-hand path and right-hand path to enlightenment. You can go in abstinence completely, or you can go straight into fucking hell and do everything, get out of your system. You know what I mean? You can, like, you know, fuck the donkeys. Like, you know, there's some sects that, like, undercover, like really occult sects of, like, Buddhism and Taoism that are freak shows. You know what I mean? They're doing all kinds of kinky shit. And then there's others that are, like, super Puritan. But at the end of the day, they're trying to go to the same place. One is saying, if I abstain from everything and just say I don't care about anything at all, then I'll die and I'll be fine. The other one's like, fuck that, I'm here. I'm going to live every fucking thing I can to the point where I've eaten so much, I don't even want to see food anymore. And then when I die, it's the same effect. Who's right? Who, you know, like I was saying, with the real Tai Chi, please stand up. Which one's correct, you know? If you figure it out, let me know, because I don't know which one. What I do know is at the end of the day, they both agree on one thing. This fucking place is a spiritual prison. It wasn't originally supposed to be, but it is, okay? Everything in here is suffering. There's a way to get the fuck out of the suffering, okay? You know, don't be a douchebag. Try your best to not fucking hurt things if you don't have to. Do the least amount of damage you can. And, you know, try to freaking build your mind, your body, so that when you fucking die, you can jump out of the body and survive. That was Buddhism. That's it. Train your consciousness so that when you jump out of your body, you can survive. And you can go on to the other fucking places. And then, you know, there's deities like Amitabha Buddha, like, you know, Kuan Yin, other people that, you know, you call on that, you know, they say they'll come and grab you out and steal your soul and help you get the fuck out of here. That's it. That's the essence of Buddhism in a nutshell. You know, the Zen, the samurai, they were using it to be able to fight and not be afraid to die. You know? So that's why they took the practice, because it you know, it's almost like cult brainwashing. You destroy your personality so that you don't care. Like you're already dead. Doesn't matter if you're die now or die tomorrow, you're dead already. You've already succumbed to death 1,000,000 times in the meditation. So when you go on the battlefield, it's not even there anyway. Because your I am consciousness is dissolved. You're just this floating essence of fireballs of shit that murder things. So that's the essence of it. I hope I've given you a good breakdown for Tai Chi and Eastern philosophy for dummies. Does that make sense? All right. I really hope I cleared up the word problem. And the whole reason why I'm saying this is, as a community and for businesses, all these people need to come together and realize and stop being selfish and worrying about themselves and their little fucking YouTube personality shaping their, oh, look how cool, I learned this trick. Let me show you about my fascia. And not realizing the damage that they're doing to the collective. You're welcome. You know, that's why I'm so adamant about it, because what about the next generation? What about all the other people who've been training their whole life, you know, and have schools, and, you know, you're making them look bad with your fake fucking demos, where, you know, and like your over the top fucking jargon that actually doesn't make sense logically when you start thinking about it. You know, like, you don't have to be fancy. You don't have to say it's fascia. No, you're pulling on his fucking skin. Okay? Tai Chi in the class it says rubbing and brushing. When I rub on your skin, which is fascia, I'm going to pull on it. If your joints are compressed and I rub on it, I'm going to compress your joints. Does the fascia get activated? Yes, obviously, because fascia and muscle work together. Tendons and everything's one system. It's all together. So when you use the catchphrase, you're doing us a disservice. That's my whole fucking point. I'm not saying the fascia doesn't exist, but to say, he doesn't know how to use the fascia. Not for nothing, none of these guys, when they do the fudging demos, look as scary as me. Because I fucking launch people. Okay? So it's like, they think I know how to use the fascia. The whole point is, like, as a community, is it really good for us as a community when there's so much problems from the degradation of martial arts, people not wanting to do Tai Chi anymore, you know? Yes, the Kongjin is real, okay? But is it useful? Is it worth learning that? Most people who want to achieve those abilities, they do it because it's an egotistical thing. I don't like saying Luciferian, it's satanic. People mistake the Lucifer concept to Satan. It's satanic. Okay? It's you're doing it just to feel, you know, like you have some superpower over other people. Right? My superpower is like I don't show people because I don't care. Okay? Like you're not supposed to. It's like what benefit does it give people? It's not really helping you in your spiritual practice. It's not helping you in society. It's not going to save you from getting shot and mugged. Okay? You've skipped over 10 years of training to defend yourself and other people. So you're not a warrior. So you're not useful. Okay? You're not really healthy. And all that time you're spending on this, oh, look, I can do magic, no touch shit. What's it doing for anybody? You know what I mean? Is it really worth it? The answer is no. You know, but it's yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can totally do that. But it's not going to work on everybody. Unless you are monk level. Okay, and there's only one guy in the world who I know who can do it legitimately, and it's Dr. Eric Young, Lama Dondri Dondrup, whatever it was, the Heart Gate Institute. Look at that up. Okay, Discourse on the Heart Sutra. Look up Discourse on the Heart Sutra, and you'll see this guy. You'll find this guy. It's the only guy I know who I believe that can do it, pretty much on any condition. You know what I mean? The reason for that is because you have to have so many things in a line, and then if you're competing with somebody who's a psychopath like me, who has this fire chi going on, you know, it's not gonna go well for you. Okay? Because you have to have a certain state that it's like magnets. You know what I mean? And which magnet is gonna pierce the other magnet? So as strong as that form of Kongjin is another form that's opposite to that, that's just as strong, and you know, you have to be able to sustain a certain condition. But even then, okay, fine, you do the magic qigong, you push the bubble away, great, now what? It's gonna fucking shoot you. That's why my master, when I was practicing this stuff, my master said the reason why we don't teach this anymore is because once they started making bullets, it doesn't work anymore. Like they used to be able to stop knives, and this is legit, they would be able to stop them from getting cut. You can't stop a bullet because it's too fast. The vibration's way too fast. So if you can vibrate fast enough, that the Kongjin that these people are using, it's not going to work. It's all about how fast you can vibrate. So that type of energy bubble is not going to work if their energy is cutting energy. Right? If it's serious like fire cutting, it's not going to. An MMA guy who's been like trained this way, they understand. You're dealing with people who don't have any yi, any mind, any chi body, nothing. So even somebody who's just been doing regular MMA or something like that, the intent and the fire in their body creates a certain condition in the electrical field. It's not going to work the same way as somebody who doesn't train at all. Like when you do qigong, like you touch the fascia and you manipulate, it works differently on each person depending on their body condition and their mental condition. And it's not because of a trick in the mind, because the mind controls the body and the energy, the electromagnetic energy is different. The tuning fork is different. You know? What do you mean, my experience? That's all I ever did. How do you think I got so good at it? I was at Equinox for 5 years. All I did was have fucking humongous... My buddy, his name was Ian. And I'm at Equinox in one of the team meetings. There's like 50 fucking people that witnessed this, okay? He was new, he's a young kid, he's in his 20s, fucking huge, okay? Power lifter. I didn't know anything. I was a power lifter. He was like, a nice kid. So everybody during the team meeting, for some reason, were in that gym, the one that's in my kick video. And he was a really nice guy, I was contacting him after I got, but anyway. So it was like one of the mandatory monthly meetings, and the whole fucking team. So this is a whole team of professional trainers, like the top trainers in the world, okay? Like literally, like this is like the top trainers in the world, the flagship place. And so he's like fucking big motherfucker. And then everyone for some reason, like there's jiu-jitsu guys, there's kickboxing guys, so everybody in the team, like there's a whole bunch of like fighting camps and stuff. And whenever some reason like everyone started play fighting, so like I kinda like pushed him, and then he went at me like playing. So I went into the freaking, people said that like I looked like I turned cold like a robot. But he came at me, I went to the no place and I just did some shit, and I just slammed him and I just pinned him. And the whole team's like, holy shit, blah, blah, blah. And it was funny because I didn't think nothing of it. I picked him up, I gave him a hug, it's just another day in the office for me. 2 weeks later, one of the other, like the older trainers, like a high level guy, comes to the locker room, he's like, D, what'd you do? I'm like, I know what the fuck he's talking about. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? The other week, Ian's there, I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, you mean we were playing? Like, he goes, yeah, like, what did you do? I'm like, I don't know, he came at me and I just, then I swept him and put him down. And he goes, do you know who that is? He goes, he's a Penn State AAA wrestler, his record's 27-2. And he said that you treated him like a small child. I didn't know. Sweetest guy, okay? Like, really nice guy. Then my friend Brian, he was fucking a Greco-Roman wrestling coach. He was a trainer at the New York Athletic Club. He had me drunk. I didn't even know. Had me fucking wrestling with fucking jiu-jitsu world champions and fucking Greco-Olympic guys. And it's all the same thing. I do the same thing. Boom, 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 boom. You gotta go. It's the same thing. It's like, in the Tai Chi community, like world champions, I let them in and then they go doop and they fucking, like guys 100 pounds heavier than me, like I let them get their way and then all of a sudden, like, okay, now it's my turn, boop, and every one of them lifts on the fucking ground and goes across the room. And they all say, good push. So it's like, I don't know. That's what I do. I mean, I don't know about now. It's been 5 years. I've only touched like 3 people's hands. Except for the 2 people I fucking manhandles, like I put through a fucking, that was for real though. I don't practice anymore, so I don't know how good I am anymore. But this is what I do. I'm the final boss. I don't fucking know, man. It really was. I really felt like I was in an RPG, and I'm like this. Like I live my life as this legendary Japanese Chinese war hero, fucking mythical hero. I go around doing music and martial arts and saving the villagers, and I have like this little like side quests in the RPG where these people come out and I have to beat the boss. And like, randomly they'll get me drunk and then make the boss fight happen. It always went up the same way. Fucking, oop, you gotta go. But also, when I was a kid, everyone was, I started off training, everyone was bigger than me. I was getting my ass kicked by adults my whole life. I was fighting people who were bigger than me, and then I got bigger than everybody else. Then I got fucking bigger guys coming after me. That's all I've ever known is guys coming after me that were huge, So, do the same thing. You gotta go. You gotta fucking go. Like, what's my experience? That's my experience. Fucking slamming people. But, like, most of it was friendly. There was a couple, like, there was obviously a lot of fucking real, that's a whole other thing. We're talking about, like, friendly, exchanges and matches. Like, like real fights and stuff is a completely different story because, you just fucking hurt people. But, I can't count how many, exchanges and, social, violent encounters I've had in the last 20 years alone. Mini challenges and playing dates. I don't fucking, bro, it's a blur. It's a fucking blur. There's flashes, I played against all the best people I can find, and even the top of the top of the top, you know, like you play to a 50-50 for respect. That's all I'm gonna say. You know, you play like all the other masters who are my level or above. I wouldn't even attempt to try to beat them. We played a 50-50. You know, but then there's a couple of them who are a little arrogant that get thrown through a wall or slapped in the face in front of all their students, like straight up slapping the fucking mouth in front of all their students. So then there's people who witnessed it. I'm not the fucking guy. I'm not the Bushido guy. I will fucking smack you. You know, I come off all Buddhist and humble, and then people think I'm a bitch, and then they push too far, and then they'll fucking crack you in the fucking mouth. Because I'll play the traditional card, and people see me outside, they never hear me raise my voice. I'm helpful. I'm literally the stereotypical Buddhist Taoist guy. And then you'll push it too far, and I'm just having the fucking mouth. What do you mean changed everything for me? Can you explain that? I'll be right back. When did I realize I was wasting time? Well, I never wasted time and money because I was very lucky. My spirit guides put me on a very distinct path from a very young age. I never had fake teachers. I never had a real, like I paid for my karate lessons by working my teacher's garden, working for this, he was a horticulturalist. Like I lived a Mr. Miyagi life, like a fucking movie. And he worked for this big company. I did atriums, and so I would do like I would go and help with the plants and shit, and I would work in the fucking field with him and like you know do like I worked. So like I didn't, you know. So I lived the Miss Miyagi life with that guy. You know, BRC. I did Akijutsu there. It was very little money and it was really good lessons. My Qigong master I lived with didn't charge me a dime. All the Chinese masters that trained me never charged me a dime. In fact, you know they would constantly be like gifting me things and I was like, no, no, you know. So I never had that problem, you know, but I watched because I was really lucky to come up in the subculture that because I was raised outside of society like a fucking wolf, like a stray dog. I never grew up with the things that normal people had. You know, like my life was very strange in the sense like I grew up and lived the life that you would see like, you know, in like the myths of these like warrior people that would travel around and meet these masters and do all these things and like do all this crazy shit, but like in this modern setting. So I never had that experience of me wasting my time and money. I'd never been to a real commercial school other than being hired to teach there. You know what I mean? Like my teachers had schools, you know, but I didn't go to the schools to train. They trained me at home and they trained me on the side. I only took small group and private lessons my entire life. So I never had the experience of going to a McDojo and earning a black belt that way. You know, I didn't go to a black belt school. Like I fucking bled for my fucking black belt. Literally broke bones and fucking got scars and shit. I don't know that path that you guys have. And that's what I was explaining about the disrespect that you see in the Tai Chi community. Like when I mentioned, like the Five Energies guy channel came to my student Shirley's channel and was trying to say, oh, he doesn't know how to do this. And I'm like, I started realizing all these other guys come to and they're barking and they just want to talk nonsense. And I'm like, where do these guys get off talking this shit? I hadn't really sit and analyze it. I'm starting to understand. The Tai Chi world, they lost the heritage. Like in Chinese martial arts, go to a Pakme school, go to a Choi Fut school, go to Hungar school, go to, you know, Light Crane, Jing Yi, any, like, you know, maybe not so much Jing Yi anymore because Jing Yi is very Tai Chi-like in this park setting now, you know, but they don't have like a real school. Like I think the only real schools of Tai Chi I know of that are actually schools, Richard Clear, who has like the old school and a community school, Sifu Shirley, who's under me now. That's it. In America, I don't know of any actual schools with a real lineage that's taught like that. Chen Man Cheng. Oh, okay, maybe William Chen. William Chen. Who else is there that has like an actual school with a lineage, with the master's picture on the wall, and the fucking incense and the oranges? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's a culture anymore. So now you see, and then look how the Tai Chi world treats, the real Tai Chi people who know better than everybody else. They go to the schools with real lineages, with masters who are like crazy legit masters, and they'll argue with them and try to like exclude them from their community, but they're the real shit. So I'm looking at them like, you guys are guys who've like, you have these little community groups, and then you come to places who are established, who have like 200, 300-year-old lineages, who can like rip your head off, and then you're acting like you're above them, or and not even like a peer. And just imagine this Fine Energy guy comes to Charlie's channel and then starts trying to talk down about me, as if, not even like we're peers, like he's a master over me, right? That's insanity. Now, the fact that's not true, because anybody from New York will tell this guy straight up that you are not anywhere near the legitimate level that I'm on, okay? But to have the audacity to not even speak to me as a peer and say, oh, what you're doing is different, why do you do it that way? Who's your teacher? Like, I'd like to learn more about that. Just to sit there and be like, oh, no, my Tai Chi dick is bigger. I mean, come on, dude, your Chinese dick is bigger than mine. But like, you know what I mean? Like, the idea of it, of the culture and the lack of decorum, I've been trying to figure this out. And this is why I was trying to explain to Don when I first met him. Okay, and trying to teach, because they don't understand what they're missing. Because they never went through, it's like trying to say it's like jumping into the military, but never going through basic training. Trying to become a fucking Delta Force operator and never going through the fucking years of abuse and training and fucking special little thingies and ninja shit you have to learn. You just jump in and put the uniform on and then read some books and like play with your friends, and like now you're a fucking Delta Force. That's why I try to explain to people, like, because me as a kid growing up, it was like Delta Force selection martial arts. Like, it's the only way I can describe to you my path versus their path, right? Like, we're not the same. And the audacity that these people are martial artists, and none of them a way to save face, to give me the respect that, even if you think my shit's fake, you're not going to give me respect that I've done this for fucking 30 years. I have all these fucking battle scars. I've saved how many people's fucking lives. Like, I've done all this crazy shit, and you're not going to give me enough fucking respect, like, that I'm an instructor at your level when you teach a bunch of old people in the fucking park. Do you see how insane this is? And then you wonder why I come out and like I have to be aggressive and be an asshole to these people, because no one else is doing it. No one else is saying you guys are not good people anymore. You've forgotten the face of your fathers. You have no face. And you come to me talking about tradition, but you don't follow it. How can you, the Fine Energy guy, come to my school, okay? The Tai Chi United is my school now, okay? It's my name. That's my name, okay? So when you go to Tai Chi United and you see that, it's mine, okay? My school. Okay, that's my lineage. I'm giving her my lineage. Okay, and then I'm gonna walk away. She'll be my successor and teach the old style that I'm handing to her. So here's the thing: like it or not, should you not give me basic respect as a trainer who spent fucking his whole life doing the work, even if you don't agree with it? No, they have lost the way. They're so far removed from being part of a lineage and decorum and respect for each other and understanding, and then they don't even understand the old way, because in the old days, if they knew about Tai Chi, the way I would have to handle it is go fly over there and challenge him for his school, beat the crap out of him in front of all his students, and that would be the end of it. That's how it was done before the 50s, okay? I'm sure like other Chinese masters will tell you I'm not lying. I'm not the bad guy here. Don't look at me like I'm this like crazy guy. No, I'm telling you, if we're gonna follow the traditions of Tai Chi, right, and how it was taught, and how it was handled in China, you had your spot in the park, and people would want to take your spot in your students, and they would just walk up and punch you in the face, okay? Don't treat me like I'm the bad guy for saying it. So, my point I'm trying to make is, the communities around martial arts are not martial arts communities. The Fajin Project, the Rumsong Fist guys, they're psychopaths. They're narcissistic assholes. They're abusive, corrupt fucking people. Okay? There's groups of these people that gang stalk people. That look what they did to me. Okay? They're not good people. Then you have these YouTube personalities and these people that came out after COVID, right? And they don't care about the art. They're not doing it because they care about people. They're not trying to make friends. They want to be somebody, you know? Yeah, well, when you find out the real story about what happened over there with her last, it's a disgrace. And it's gonna happen. There's things going on I can't talk about, you know. But when the full story comes out, it'll make sense why we're doing this, why we're doing it. And honestly, she's the only one capable to pass down my lineage, my family form. So, you're damn right. It's joyful to dance in the rain of life. So he was saying, because the eternal light, well, I appreciate it been helpful. You know what I mean? And there's people talking about neutralizing and things like that. You know, my thing was I knew, you know, because I'm psychic and I'm a fucking, you know, autistic, and I can see patterns. And I even told people I have a plan that's going to be 10 years long, and that they don't understand it, and now they're seeing it in action, and you should be shitting their pants. I didn't teach the real shit. I just gave little bits of things that I felt would be helpful to the community. Right? And like the things that were missing that would help put the pieces back together. But there's so much these guys don't know. You know what I mean? They really don't know. And they like, there's entire segments of training that are completely lost. That were lied to you about. Like, you're not supposed to do any weightlifting. What is a stone lock? Look up stone lock. It's Chinese stone lock. It's a fucking kettlebell made of fucking stones. Okay? They all had to do like hard training in secret. You can't, you know? Fortune cookie. To be joyful is to dance in the rain of life. You have to add in bed if it's a fortune cookie. You have to put dash in bed. To be joyful is to dance in the rain of life in bed. But, you know, my goal in the Tai Chi world, like, I didn't want to be Tai Chi fucking famous. It's like, you know, I'm being forced to be Tai Chi famous. You know what I mean? And like, I didn't want to teach, you know, so that's why, like, thank God, you know, Sifu Shirley, you know, she really wanted the secret scroll. Like, she fucking begged for it. You know, she was like, I want the fucking real shit. Like, I want the real stuff, you know? It's been 20 fucking years and you know your masters are hiding things from you. They're teaching you wrong on purpose. They don't care about you if you live or die. They're trying to rob you, you know? And you do that kind of work. And then you have to have a morality. Like, you know, she actually cares about teaching people and you want people to be happy. You know, so many people, I haven't found anybody else who would be able to, you know, pass through a group that's now a bunch of idiot scumbags. You know, nobody appreciates this stuff. You know what I mean? That's why, like, people that have stolen from me, they thought they got away with something because, oh, now they can do the Fa Jing trick. You know, the Fa Jing trick, you know, and like, we're going to suppress him and steal all this stuff. I'm like, guys, I've shown you like this much of the stuff. You know, like you've made your career on my pinky finger, my booger on my pinky finger. The Fa Jing tricks, that's like, it's a trick. It's like, you know, it's the extra. What about everything else you have to be able to do? What about the whole fucking martial art? Being able to wrestle, being able to fucking strike, being able to do, you know, bone dislocations, bone setting, right? You have to be able, because everything you break, you have to be able to fix. So if you can dislocate it, you have to be able to put it back. So you don't know the Chinese medicine stuff, you don't know the medical qigong I learned, you don't know any of the traditional Korean fighting, the martial arts I know, you don't know any of the secret hand set of how to actually box the stuff. You know, I didn't teach you a shit. So you think you robbed me and you got away with something and you're going around with my like little fragments of my teachings and trying to make your careers and not even giving me credit. The karma is that people are going to see that you've been lying about your whole life and they're going to fucking lose everything. Japanese dojo under form conditioning. Oh! All the Japanese arts came from China. Because Japanese, a little fucking island, all these people came from like the Korean area and the China area. They didn't just magically plop up on fucking the island of Japan. You know, they're genetically linked to these fucking northern, like, Korean and some weird Chinese link. And like, you know, they're different, but they're They didn't just arrive there. You know, what do you think? The gods farted them out, and they're just like, oh, Chinese eyes go this way, and Korean eyes go this way, and Japanese eyes go this way. It's like, you know, like they're related. They have a genetic link. But when it comes down to the trade, you know, like people think that before like cars there was no trade. Like, you know, they don't know anything. They're so like simple-minded. But yeah, look, there's so many different levels of Tai Chi, right? And they weren't called Tai Chi. Chen style became Tai Chi after Tai Chi became a big thing from the Yang side, and then because the Chen family was a higher status, it's like they can't have them be higher than them, so they had to like give them the name. I don't even believe most of the stories anymore. What do I think? I think Mark Gramus is actually really, really good. His theory is very, very good. Like I stopped watching videos 5 years ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just needed a break from martial arts. So like, I watched the stuff that people sent to me. I watched a couple of videos, and like when he was starting saying that stuff, it made sense because he was talking about visualizations, which I always say visualization is the actualization, right? You're teaching somebody visualization to get their mind to start eliciting response and grab things, do things. But he also talks about a closed kinetic chain. A closed kinetic chain means you're connected to the exoskeleton. He's not a moron, right? People take fragments, like what they did to me. They take a fragment of somebody's teaching and they run with it and they make an entire system on it and then make themselves the master of a system that's based on a fragment of another master. And that's like another reason why martial arts go to shit. So no, everything he says makes sense. You know, what I understood, he has like he mixed a couple of like different things together. Like, you know, like the way he mixed the Wing Chun and everything like that. I don't know Adam Minzer. You know, I know that there was a lot of controversy about the guy. You know what I mean? Like I said, his body mechanics for like the Yang style Tai Chi are perfect. Like, you know, like his body mechanics, his structure, all the things he's saying, they're correct standard to the Yang, you know, that lineage of Yang styles. It's correct standard. You know, like my only thing again is because when people start like promoting stuff, and like you have the promotional teams and then the people who are his fans, you know, not much movement. What do you mean not much movement? But my issue is like sometimes the clips that will be said will give an impression that tell people this is the only way. And it's the only way if you want to do it that way. Right? Like for instance, don't use any force. Okay. It doesn't say don't use force. It says don't use force against force. Okay? The classes say don't use force against force. You know, don't use brute. But it never says don't ever use it. So I'm also, you know, I mix theory also. I believe in the Japanese ways of looking at it. And Musashi, it was like the Bible for me for freaking 10 years. You know, like, so why as a warrior would I not want to have all my weapons and use all my tools? There's no such thing as a Chinese style, it's not an internal style. This doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And think about internal styles, right? People, for instance, the Adam Minzer lineage, right? If you look at the, you know, they focus on the Tai Chi Gong aspect of it and, you know, the very unusual powers, okay? But you can very easily just use the regular handsets that are in that same system and train them as a hard style and it would be just as legitimate. And to say it's not, oh, you don't need the form. Yeah, that's great. You want to be on this mystical mountain shit. You know, like 10 fucking guys are coming after you. You better have your handsets right. And you better be able to fucking move well. You can't just sit here like this and do Magic 5 Jing when 10 fucking people with baseball bats are coming after you. Okay? This is what happens when you stop living in a reality-based system where you're being tested in a non-compliant way, and you've been in experiences like I have, where you've worked in the field and you've seen people get fucking stabbed and shot, when you've lived in the ghetto and you've seen, you know, you've dealt with that shit, you know, and you have to handle that kind of work. It puts the perspective what the martial art was before all the myths and the fucking legends. I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong, but I think, you know, they're doing it as a body cultivation, you know, and they're happy and it's great. But once you say that the form doesn't matter, it's no longer a martial art, because you're not really thinking about applying it as a martial art. Martial pertains to warfare. So once you take the warfare aspect out of it, now it's just, you know, it's exercise, it's, you know, some mental development. Once you stop training it to respond to life and death situations, it's no longer martial art. And I don't care what you're doing. Even MMA is a sport. Until you train it for specifically for life and death, where if you fail, you die. It's not about I'm going to win a game, or I'm going to win a sport, or I want to look cool. It's specifically, it has to work 99.99999% of the time. You hit somebody once and they're dead. And that's how you have to train it. If you're not training like that, or training against people trying to kill you, you're not doing martial art. You know, that's why I'm saying words are important. And, you know, the distinction of Tai Chi Chuan and Tai Chi Gong historically is important. And understanding what happened to the masters and respecting the fact that a lot of them were hung and forced into hiding. You know, so when you go to China looking for the masters, and guys like Bruce Francis, the energy arts guy, he said it. He went to China and there was no good Tai Chi anymore. Because they were dead. They were killed. They were hung in the streets. And then the only people that were allowed to survive were the ones who cowered to the fucking chain. And then you're wondering why you can't find the real fucking thing. You know? And then, you know, you got groups like that do the martial arts tourism, and they show these people the fucking final level secret that the old master will teach you and whisper in your ear, and they start show that to everybody. And like, oh, now let's make this our style. Look, I can the fucking all the people at the fascia thing, and the old ladies that are doing the touch my fascia, and the fucking Chinese guys, oh, look my fascia, I'll show you what the fascia. It's like you're not in reality. Okay, like when I came here, I assumed there would be more real martial artists who were looking for the thing like I was. I didn't realize how far behind you guys were, what fucking deluded fucking world this was. I couldn't accept the fact that there was this many delusional fucking bullshit people that never got punched in the face before. I couldn't accept the fact. So when I was giving up some of these little tricks, I was thinking that everyone's an intermittent and advanced martial artist from a lineage, or trying to find a lineage. I'm giving you the extra piece, being helpful, and then I get a whole bunch of these fucking paper tiger fucking fakes and frauds trying to ruin my fucking channel, steal my content, ripping around, you know, like fucking gang stalking bullshit. It doesn't make any sense, like, you know? So, like, you know, so to go back, what I think I think, you know, he worked very hard his style, you know, he built a good, like, you know, community and whatever. People like it, you know, and like they get the effect that they're looking for. It's great, you know, but like I said in his video with the other chubby guy that didn't like me too much, they're talking about making a Tai Chi Gong, and rightfully so. That's what they should say, because he's not teaching us martial art. Once you start saying that the handsets don't matter, that that you have to completely go to the water side, and you know you've done a disservice, because the Tai Chi symbol, it has to have both. Okay, and he lifts weights. The guy was doing bench presses. Okay, there's no fucking way you can tell me otherwise. He's lifted weights before. Okay, like, and I heard people tell me he did it in secret because he wanted to be buff. But I know, because I'm a fucking trainer, I know what it looks like when people lift weights. Okay, you don't get that shape from doing Tai Chi. So, and I don't blame him. You know, you got to look a certain way. You got to have a certain amount of just muscle in order for people to collect the electrical signals to do the thing. You know, so there was a point in his training where he at least lifted weights for a while. I can tell you that. But other than that, I mean, you know, like I say, anybody who works hard, doesn't lie to people, I respect them. You know, like he does his fucking thing. He works hard at it. People like it. They're happy with his fucking program. Good for him. I think going to the gym is okay if you do it the right way. You know, I fucking train people in gyms for over a decade. You know, obviously I think the gym is okay. You know, like look at the videos of fucking photos of me in the community team. I was fucking jacked. You know, like I came down here, I thought the world was ending. You know, like I fucking blocked out society, I was waiting for the fucking communists to fucking finish. You know, we got really lucky, guys. You know, if the Orange Man didn't win, we wouldn't have a country left. Right? We wouldn't be having this conversation. But, so now I have to start working out again, because I have to look fit for at least for a little while, until I can finish passing on the stuff to her group. Yeah, I did, and someone sent me a link about that. I even did a video about that or something. I think I did a stream on it or something like that. It was like a year or two ago. And it's just like this. There's so many things that like are hidden that shouldn't be hidden. Like there's so many things that he's doing that if you know the mechanics, it's like very clear. Oh, he's doing clear chest. He's just making it very small. Like, you know, like I do all the same shit. I just call it different stuff because I don't need. I didn't learn it from the one lineage. I learned my stuff from a whole bunch of obscure Chinese dudes who I met in the park, you know, in their tank tops, with their bellies, smoking a cigarette, going, "Oh, you do?" I go, "Yes, sir, I do." You know, the whole English was, "You do?" I go, "Yes, sir. Yes, Steve, I do." I started boxing when I was 3. You know, that's my first thing was boxing. So that's why people come to me like, "You're a Bushido guy." Like, did you not read my bio? Like, I did fucking boxing and classical karate my whole fucking life. Like, you know, like, what Bushido? And I literally show in excruciating detail in English, this is what is happening. Like that fucking indefensible martial arts reject from fucking UK, my bitch, for the rest of his life. He came in talking this shit for 3 fucking months. He's on this beating his chest thing. And I'm like, dude, come into the Discord. I'll teach you how to do the thing so that you can do the thing and then you can expose the thing the right way. But no, you're a fake, you're a phony, blah, 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 blah. You know? And I'm like, fine, let's fight. I'll fuck you up. Like, I'll fucking kick you in the face. Like, what am I telling you? You know, like, a parry is Pakistan. I mean, well, it depends on who you ask. Like, look, I train Wing Chun with, like, you know, like, informally with a lot of people. So I don't like to, okay, I've seen so many different explanations of what things are, right? And what they're supposed to do. There's internal, there's external, this and that. Like, I've only done, like, you know, because you know, my karate style has all the Wing Chun techniques in it, but we don't teach it in this little form. We have freaking all these shapes are in the form. All the punches, you know, we have all these punches. Like everything we have it in the form, we just apply it a different way. So when I started playing with the Wing Chun guys, I'm like, oh, this is a knife hand, this is this thing, this is that thing. Oh, okay. You know, like we have a long style shape that we do. They abbreviate like this. Okay? Like there's like little, and then we have other times there's a hidden bong style in like the later black belt form. So like when you get through the syllabus, it's like, oh, they're all snake and crane. Maybe that's why they look the same. Like karate and Pakme, like they're the same thing. Instead of us doing like together, we do 1, 2. You know, and then later on in higher ranks, you learn together. You know, because it came from the same fucking place, and everyone's sitting here, mine is this and yours isn't this, and like you guys are all fucking idiots because when you go back, they're all coming from the same people. This is their version of it. You know, I tell people that Yang Tai Chi is the big brother to the Wing Chun, right? I try to explain this to people. Like, that's why I was so, like, my systems are so combined because I always saw the similarity, right? That, like, if you know your systems and you train in them long enough, you're going to see, wait a second, it's not that different. There's a different way of going about getting there. Like, for instance, like, you know, there's a lot of similarity to, like, you know, fucking, even Jing Yi and Wing Chun, like, in certain points, right? But, you know, they'll take one move and then they apply that one move and the energy is different. But when you look at the mechanics in the freeze frame, if you took, like, a picture, every once in a while, you're going to start seeing that, oh, wait a second, that looks like his cousin. You know? It's not like some random, obscure, faraway thing, you know? Like, because they all came from the same place. They, like, and I think it's funny, like, people think Tai Chi is, oh, it's all this and it's that, yeah. But I'm like, there's shit that they're telling you it's snake and crane. And then you look at snake styles and crane styles, and then you look at the Tai Chi form, and if you took a freeze frame, there's moments where it's literally the same fucking posture. Right? Step up to 7 stars. It's because Yang style has fucking mantis in it. Okay? All the hook hands, all the stuff like that. Step up to 7 or play the guitar. That's fucking mantis. It's literally a mantis step. Like the whole fucking knee trapping, because like the other Yang styles that they'll come with the quarter step front stance with the knee traps, it's all fucking mantis. Like the Tai Chi system is a bastard collaboration of a whole bunch of different styles. Oh well, thank you. I mean, I think because I was saying to John Kaufman, you know, like, because he's really good. I was saying, like, I don't believe that they're different. I think that Wing Chun is the little sister of the Yang style. You know, because like when you look at the technical stuff of it, it's like Wing Chun is like the small idea, right? It's like the little ideas. It's like you took all the big movements, and we just reduced it. I had to stand in position, right? And you look at all the hand positions. Eventually, what do you wind up with? If you look at the old, the old yang styles that people don't do anymore, right? And you look at the handshakes and you freeze frame every couple of seconds, you're gonna see it's the fucking same, mechanically the same thing, And that was my argument about the mindful Wing Chun guy. It's great, but because that lineage, the Chusan Chong lineage, what is Chusan Tim? I don't remember his name, but like he came across the body mechanics that are supposed to be universal. It's not supposed to be this is a Tai Chi mechanic and this is a Wing Chun mechanic. Your fucking body only moves so many ways, bro. Okay, you could have a different strategy in the chess game, but they're all the same pieces. Okay, everybody has the same fucking pieces across the board. And then you can move them different ways, but we're all going to eat something and then pick a finger up and move the fucking piece across the board. I may want to go with the, in favor of the bishops and he favors the knights, but we all have the same pieces, Like the Jing Yi guys, they favor the fucking rook and they favor the fucking pawns. You know what I mean? Bagua guys, they like the knight and the fucking bishop, It's like they isolate a thing and they're like, oh, and then they're like, look, I'm more special than you are. I'm more special than you are. I'm like, why is everybody trying to be so different? Why can't we all be the same? Why can't we go back home? That was what I was trying to do my whole life, is I wanted to find the universal theory of martial arts and then create this, like, Like, I never understood that. Like, why is everybody like, oh, all Wing Chun? And I will say in the Wing Chun world, there's a lot of deviation because there's some people that are so full of the reservation and they made it a hard style where it's like, you see them like literally just powering through stuff. And then you see people who are so fucking soft that they can't fight anymore. Because it only works in this controlled environment. And then, everyone's trying to be so different and make their name being different that they fucking lose the touch of reality. And then it's nothing compared to what was being done in the 1800s. It's a completely different fucking thing. The mechanics are different. The way that they move is different. Like, I played some fucking crazy dude. Like, when, because after years of me hanging out with, like, different parks and like that, the old Chinese masters accepted me as one of the, the masters in the park, And then when other guys would come, they know I'm a safe person for them to play with. So they're introducing these fucking guys coming off the boat and just visiting. They don't speak a word of fucking English. And they're kids. And I'm like fucking, And then I play with them and they're like, oh, you're very good. And then they'll start teaching me, and I'll teach my students, and and they'll dump a whole bunch of information on me, but they don't even speak fucking English. They're just like, they'll hit me and they'll do this thing like, okay, you do. I go, yes, I do. I fucking do it. But like when I learned my crane from a fucking guy that didn't speak any fucking English. He spoke like 5 words of English. He was going like all this fucking shit. I don't remember the form now. I kept the technique, but I don't remember the form. But I just never understood that. And then I realized there's a cultural thing in China. Like, there's, because even in the park, you'll see there's villages of groups of people, and they're very friendly to each other, but they don't share technique together. And and it's never it's very rare that they'll share students. Like I always would bring students, and I always tell everybody, I want my students to go to other fucking teachers. I want them to see what the difference is. I want them to feel the difference. 1, they may sign something I don't know. 2, I want them to see how good of a teacher I am. And 3, they're not going to know what works and what doesn't until you play with people who don't do what the fuck you're doing. So anybody who knows me, then push ass me, so like that, and it was like, it was okay. I'm like, all the masters always said, it's okay. I'm like, yes, it's okay. That's why I brought him here. Take him. It's not a normal thing in Chinese culture to do that. Get people afraid they're going to lose their students. Right, but you can't call it martial Tai Chi, and this is what the whole beginning, you have to watch the beginning of the stream, bro, because I just made a whole speech about this. You can't say Tai Chi, C-H-I, and consider it martial. And this is the whole reason I made this fucking stream today, and I went off topic because people started coming in to talk. You can't say Tai Chi. You have to watch the beginning of the stream, please. Okay? It's a whole thing, and we have to be clear about this because the distinction of the word Chi, which is energy and blood, versus Ji, which is the Tai Chi symbol. The Tai Chi symbol, right? It's not Chi. And when you write, there's 2 different words. I learned Cantonese when I was writing fucking, you can't even stand that shit. I couldn't pick it up. Like, because I didn't like languages that much. I spoke fucking, 5 different fucking languages when I'm with the people, but you stop using it, you just forget it. But every once in a while, I start cursing people out Chinese for some reason. Like, it's like I get hit in the head and I start fucking speaking Cantonese. Yeah, I understand, but I had to point it out because the whole reason I did this stream today was because of this, and these trolls keep coming back and they keep trying to misunderstand me on purpose about the whole Fascia thing. Like, God. And I don't think Fascia exists. You know? But you'll see me using Tai Chi now, you know, because when, so I'm, you know, Shirley has my form, and there's other students that are learning my form. But the first level is the Qigong version, and they're not fighters. So they're learning Tai Chi Gong, right? That's why it's Tai Chi United. Then there'll be some closed door students who me and other people that I'm not going to name right now I'm going to be working with to teach them the martial arts stuff. And I have somebody that's there, you know, very well known, very respected coach who I used to work with, who's also training her, you know, so that way she gets my form, my family form, and then there's somebody there to make sure she gets the other stuff, you know? But that's why you'll see me using two different terms. But on my channel, I always refer to it as Tai Chi Chuan because that's what I do, right? Even though I do Qigong, my Qigong was a separate thing I learned from my master, and all we did was sit down, meditate, and eat vegetables and do like the fire pulse. Yeah, Shirley's the sweetest. You know, she's good people. That's why she was able to convince me to give her the secret scroll. And that's why I decided to come up and, you know, help her start the new organization, because when you guys find out what happened to her and why I had to come in, I mean, aside from, like, I was planning on giving her, you know, the family scroll, because she's the only one that deserves it. But the reason why because I was, like I said, I've been saying this for 2 or 3 years ago, like, I'm retired, I don't want to teach in public anymore, I don't want to do this stuff anymore. And she was like really pushing me to do it. But then when I found out what was happening in the background, it was so, what happened is so bad. What's been going on from the old school, what happened so bad that I had to step up. And when people find out, you're going to understand why. It'll make more sense in a couple of months. But what they did to her is so bad that I had to. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm going to say for that. I can't say anymore right now because there's reasons. You'll find out. But yeah. But I know some little troll idiot's going to try to say, well, I mean, I don't know about all that, but I can tell you that what happened with her lineage and why she had to give the name and why I'm coming in to start the school. And, you know what I mean? There's a whole backstory to that that's going to come out, and people understanding like, oh, now I get it. One, because I'm the only one qualified to actually correct the modern forms. Okay? Like, literally, I'm the only one qualified. In the entire industry, there's nobody more qualified than me that understands, like, kinesiology, and, like, you know, like, understands body mechanics the way I do. I went to school for it. I literally went to school to be a trainer. Okay? And, like, I'm not like one of these, like, little trainers at, like, a Planet Fitness. Okay, I used to train like millionaires and billionaires and movie stars and like Ford models, and like I used to do rehab for people who got run over by fucking trucks, and you know I trained military guys and cops, and like I'm the only one qualified to look at the modern forms and find out why they're hurting people and fix it. Okay, I'm literally the only one qualified. Nobody in this community has my qualifications. Nobody has my experience. Nobody has my eye for the movement and make the corrections. So I'm coming in to, you know, and fixing the modern forms so that people start getting hurt and people start fucking using the stuff like normal to get the Qigong effect, and, you know, not have their knees breaking and not have, you know, be teaching bullshit, you know? And the other thing is, like, you know, just there's a lot of corruption on levels that, and it's really sad, you know? Really? I don't watch the videos. Like, guys, I literally live a monk life. I try to explain to people, they get an idea of me, they have no idea how I live. Like, I don't pay attention. I don't look at anybody else's channels. You know, on top of it, most of the time, I don't even get notifications that someone commented or mentioned or anything with me. Like, I'll tag people on here in TikTok, I didn't even tag them. Like, the internet's fucked up for me, so I don't even know what's going on. So I don't know what you see there. You know, I don't know her childhood story. You know, like so all I know is what I know about the martial arts aspect of it, and you know the injuries there. You know, and what was when I found out what was actually happening and how corrupt the things around her were going on, and it just was like, okay, you know, she wants me to teach. You know, there's a lot of people who still want me to teach. You know, and then, you know, people who coach me, who I have respect for, to like, you have a responsibility to teach, you know. I'm like, fuck. So I'm teaching, you know. So, yeah, she's going to get the thing. And hopefully when the mess is cleared up and she gets to tell the story, you'll understand why I came in to be Grandmaster and take over to protect the fucking school. That they need, you know, somebody who can take the arrows and doesn't care. Because I'm not afraid of anybody and you can't rob me. Because my stuff is so unique and obscure and my lineage is so direct, you can't rob me. You know, if you rob, these little idiots can rob my technique on YouTube, but you can't rob my system because my lineage has come directly from, you know, crazy guys. And there's people that back it up. You know, that was a mistake with this Fascia Project people and the online Paper Tigers from the lockdown. After I got canceled and I got shadow banned, all these new people came in and they saw me in a weak state and they ganged up on me. And then the people from the Fascia that knew who I was already saw me down and they said, oh, we're going to infect these people, manipulate them to attack me more. But these idiots didn't know who I was and how many people actually know me and how many people actually touched hands with me that are professionals and world champions and all kinds of crazy people. I don't talk about it. I stay humble. My humility allowed them to attack a caricature of me that doesn't exist. They're attacking somebody who they think is like the guy who went to our channel and said, "You're not qualified to, you know, I don't like your demeanor, and he doesn't know how the fascia works." Right? They're attacking a caricature of fucking thing doesn't exist. They don't even know me. And then when people find out, like, wait, what are you talking about? Like I literally have the highest level of certification in the field, like literally. And then I have clients and testimonials, and I have an actual like a recommendation from the executive producer. I don't know if he still is, but at the time he was the executive producer of Dr. Oz, and I was training him for a year. I have a letter recommendation from him. Okay, like I have like letter recommendation from like CEOs and like all these fucking people, like these fitness things and that and fucking. These guys, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So that's the story, you know? And I'm hoping that now with, because we have a really good group and everybody's happy. I'm sure there's going to be fake idiots putting out fake reviews and saying, no, I don't like this because of this. But it is what it is. You know, you're going to get hate from these people because they're just hateful people. So we're prepared for that because that's what they do, you know. They're going to put out their fake this and this is bad and that's good and yeah. Nothing you can do about it, you know. But they don't care who they hurt. They don't care. Like, you know, they care about themselves and feeling important. Like, just imagine. You can't fake it yourself, but the internal's not the most important thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's great. You know, it's a good trick that I've learned, but like, that's like, this is this much. All the Fa Jing stuff I do is like, okay, great. I can do the Fa Jing. I can move the guy around. What about like the other 30 years of my training that nobody cares about? it's like they're like so. Oh God! But no, you can't fake the internal stuff. No, you can. You can fake it if you have a cooperative partner, and that's what Don told me. When he first came to the demo, he says that he was with the Adam Minzer people. And this is Don saying it, not me. He said that he knows the way to make the demos look good. And you can ask him this. I said, don't fucking do anything. I don't want to know. Just come at me. Because he said that they have a way of feeding the person to make the demo look better. And I said, don't fucking do any of that shit. Just come at me. Just push. Right? Just throw a punch. Okay? I specifically said, I don't know what, you know, tricks they have to make the demos look better, but don't do that. Like, you can ask the guy, like, you know, I don't know that, but there's ways of faking it. There's ways of making people look better than they are. Look, like when I do push-ups, a lot of these guys on my you know videos, that I make them look better than they are. Like if you slow motion, like I did the free sparring video with Mike, right? And you slow motion it, and you can see like I'm picking him up before he starts. I'm letting him stay connected. I'm not attacking him. I'm making him look good, you know. But it's strange to see people hopping. Yes, it's strange to see people hopping around. But if you understand basic fucking physics, okay, there's a wave like the fucking you ever see the metal balls and they slap each other? Click, 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 click. Okay. So what people don't understand is they think it can only hit force like this, right? But if you ever get into a car crash or you take off from the car really fast, you have this feeling of the wave leaving you. That's what you're hitting with. So you throw that wave, the inertia wave, it leaves your body, it hits the guy, goes out of him fast enough that it drags him out. That's it. You know, it's a physics trick, and then, you know, all this, like, you know, being able to do that trick at a very high level, expand and open and close the joints. They say send the chi and all this stuff like that, but physiologically what's happening? You're vibrating very fast and shooting open a line, okay? And you're hiding it. That's all it is. It's a hidden this. It's just that you get so good, you know, and you'll give the anime guy credit. He's so good at practicing that one thing that he can shoot it out and make it look like it's not moving, right? And I can do that, but that's not my only thing, because my thing was I have to be able to fucking survive in the street. You know, I'm fucking working parties, doing security, fucking teaching guys who are doing security. You know, I can't teach. They need to be able to fucking do stuff. Yeah, exactly. But like, I have to have a more rounded approach to life. So, to me, like that Fajing stuff and the following, like that's great, but that's like 10% of the art. The rest of the art is the weapons, the freaking, you know, self-defense stuff, the fucking wrestling, the breaking bones, the setting bones, you know, like all these other things you have to learn. And then, but people want to gravitate to the thing that's unusual, the power that's unusual. And that makes it look cool, and it makes it exciting. That's what people want to learn, you know? That's what it's supposed to be, you know? It's like, if you don't have any of the basic skills and someone that has the other skills touches you, you're going to fly away. You know? That's all it is. You know? And look, like I said, like guys who are professional Greco-Roman wrestlers, jiu-jitsu guys, blah, 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 they're on my fucking videos on my channel, and I'm launching them. They're looking at me like, holy shit, what the fuck is that? The fucking 2 wrestling coaches from the Youth Athletic Club. This is like the fucking top. They teach the Olympic guys. We're drunk in his apartment building on the west side, and for like 2 hours, these 2 fucking guys are just coming at me in the hallway, and we're just like drunk laughing as I'm throwing them into the fucking doors of the stairwell. You know? It's a cool thing, but here's the problem. If that's all you have, you're gonna have a problem when it's real life. You know, you need the other 95%, like the Montague guys, right? Like Montague, Earl, what's his son's name? I always forget the son's name. Anyway, they're fucking the other Australian people, and they're like a divide of the Australian peoples. You know, there's like his little camp, and then the other fucking, like, you know, Chi camp, and they don't mesh. His camp is at least like, this is how you defend yourself in real life. If you don't do it this way, you're gonna die. And these guys are like, we don't care about fighting, we just want to do the Chi. You know? So, that's where it is, that's where I'm at. Alright, well, I hope that I'm gonna keep repeating myself, because I know people can come back to the stream and they're gonna look like the fucking idiot guitar guy who looked at the thing and tried to give me a lesson of what gong means. You have to go to the beginning of the stream. I explained the whole words 15 times already. I explained my position 15 times already. If you don't get it now, you're all fucking idiots. They do talk about it. It's called hua, to neutralize. Right? They don't talk about it, but they're using Chinese terms and nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. You know what I mean? So, they are talking about it. Like, every time you say liu, roll back, is yielding and neutralizing. You know, anytime you do hua is a transforming energy. So say you really neutralize, that should transform. But they're talking about it, they just don't use the right words for English speakers. So that it becomes this fucking mystical, magical thing, and everybody thinks it's Bushido, and they don't see the usefulness, and then the way they do demos is so controlled, and they show this magic thing, and then everybody sees that, and then all the fucking idiots with a 98 IQ who think MMA is God come and see that and think everybody who uses the Tai Chi blade is fucked, you know? Yeah, so this is what it is. Alright, I gotta freaking run. I think my battery's gotta be dying by now. I gave you guys my sunset today. I was gonna go sit in the sun, but you stole my sunset. I gotta, wait, let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody. Yeah, so, any other questions from you guys? I think I made my position clear on the fascia thing. Okay, like, you can look at Shirley's video how I fixed her knees. If I didn't know about fascia, I wouldn't be able to fix her knees. Okay? I literally fucking got the first certification for myofascial compression technique 15 fucking years ago. I did the whole courses. I know about fascia, guys. If it was important, I would have said it. There's so many other things that are more important in reality to get those effects. You're welcome. I'm not saying the fascia isn't real, okay? I'm not saying that, but these 99% of the people that are talking about it are just, they're literally content thieves that just want attention. They're not the original source of the content, and they're just doing it for views, and they want to sound cool, they want to be accepted by some group and get views and make money. It's not helpful for the community. It doesn't explain what's actually happening, okay? Because, if they're not directly saying, we're going to touch the skin, which is also fascia, and pull on that, which pulls on the bones, okay? That's all I'm saying. Saying like the way they're describing it makes them sound stupid to anybody who knows what the fuck is going on, who's actually a fighter or someone's gonna be in real life. You're not gonna go, let me touch your skin. That's arguable too. Stick comes from this end is arguable because I can stick to you in many different ways. They're sticking to you by forcing jin into the bone marrow. They're sticking to you by by following energy. There's a lot of different ways to stick. Right? There's ways to make the guy stick to you. There's ways to make you stick to the guy. And there's different ways of doing that. There's timing stickings. There's force stickings. There's following, leading stickings. So it depends on which lineage and what they're doing. Okay? If you watch my video, Shaolin Mike gets the feel of the Wu. You'll see me, and I do this on purpose, I go underneath his arm and have him stick to me. I go over and over and have him stick to me. Right? So it shows that you're able to insert the jin into the bone marrow. You're not just using fascia, because if you don't get into the bone marrow and inject the force of the bone marrow, it's not. But this is what I'm saying. The people who talk about the fascia, that are fake, they only do these controlled demos where, okay, you're going to stand like this, and I'm going to touch you like this, and oh, you're going to move. And then you guys go, oh, you throw one punch, and I'll do this one technique, and then look, you see, I moved your fascia. It's like, guys, like enough already. I hate repeating myself. If it would have been nicer to me, I wouldn't have to fucking make a mess. But now they make a mess. And it shouldn't have to be this way. We could have all been friends. But nobody wants to be friends. Everybody wants to be the king of the fucking mountain. And the truth is, I'm the freaking, the king of the mountain that's been hiding in the village as a peasant because I didn't want the attention. But now I'm going to fucking take the attention. I have no choice. I didn't want it to be this way. Okay? I came offering presents and gifts. So when the shit goes down, and don't say I didn't try to be nice. I spent 15, 20 years, since the day Facebook started, since the day these groups started, I came in being nice, looking to be friends. Okay? I tried to be everybody's friend. The indefensible martial arts douchebag, my bitch, I tried to be his friends. I tried for 3 months. Let's be friends. You didn't want to be friends. You kept fucking pushing. Now I'm like, no, if I see you, I'm going to break your fucking face. I heard fucking words since. So don't say I didn't try to be friends. Don't say I didn't try to find the decorum and be nice to everybody. I've been nice, okay? People are assholes. They're mean. They're fucking scumbags. They're fucking scumbags. They're cheaters, they're liars, they're content thieves. They helped fucking repress my channel. They watched as hundreds of people came after me. The government fucked me up. YouTube and all these fucking corporations fucked me up. They fucking stole my life's work. They left me to fucking starve and die. I was poisoned 3 times. I was fucking all kinds of shit. And everyone saw me at my lowest, and they kept fucking kicking me. And they're supposed to be martial artists and Buddhists and all these good people. And they saw me down, and instead of trying to help me, they kept fucking kicking me. So you know what? Now that I'm coming back up, don't be surprised when I'm not very nice to you. I'm going to remember every one of you. Okay? Forgiveness is for God. And so it is what it is. Don't say I didn't try. Okay. I'll see you guys soon. I hope my explanation makes sense. rewatch the beginning because I clarified these things. It's fair is fair. Like, look, I tried to be nice, and then now they're going to my students' channel and disrespecting me, saying they don't like me, and they don't. Who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? I'm not qualified. None of you have my qualifications or my experience, and none of you can back it up. There's fucking receipts of who I am, where I've been. You guys have no receipts. You guys have no receipts. You have no receipts in your fucking master's law. You have no receipts in your fucking shit that you actually fucking prove that you actually did the thing. You have no fights under your belt. You have no competition under your belt. There's fucking pictures of me that people who know me from Facebook saw it. I used to be judging fucking karate tournaments in New York City. People know who I am. I have records for breaking fucking shit in certain fucking tournaments. Like, you know, so there's records of me, this timeline of me. These guys have no fucking receipts. There's no receipts. And then talking to me like I'm some fucking nobody. We're done. And if you're going to Shirley's page and try to attack me, now you're going to find a different version of me because I'm not going to let you attack a fucking girl. And I'm not going to let you attack a girl who's my student now. So if you thought I was an asshole before, okay, and I'm not going to argue over that. I'm going to fucking make it, I'm going to go to you. On this page, under my name, I'm going to start going to you. Okay, I'm going to go to all your friends. I'm going to embarrass all you motherfuckers. So stop the shit. Okay? Let's be fucking friends. Let's be nice. I really tried, and you don't let me. So, last morning. Okay? Alright, I'll see you guys soon. Let's just be friends. Give me tacos. No, it wants to be a dick. I'll see you guys soon, man.